All right. Hey, Jeff.
Hi, I'm yeah, poking weed through my grinder. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. Happy last day of July.
Happy last day of trading. It's gonna end by this time tomorrow.
Yep.
So a lot of interesting shits happened this week we will talk about later.
Yeah, lots of stuff. Barely keep
Yep.
track of it.
Like for instance, the Cubs deciding they're gonna be buyers instead of
How about that?
sellers.
Isn't that great?
It just takes a team coming together at the last second to just thwart the plans of a GM that's ready to dump. And they've had some amazing games over the last week. Considerably. Oh, there's my lighter. Um, Hawkman, how about a game-saving home run robbery with the last out of the game? He catches that ball that was clearly going to be out. It's clearly going to be out of the park. And there's a guy on that would have won the game for St. Louis, but instead he caught the fucking thing, and the Cubs win another. Unbelievable. I've never seen a game end like that before. Have you ever known a game to end on a game rob or like a robbed home run?
Yeah, I
The
guess
game
it.
is on the line and they're only one run difference.
Yeah, I know last year Nimmo made a game-saving catch, but I don't think it was the ninth inning.
Yeah, this was the last out of the game.
Yeah.
And if he would have missed it, the Cardinals would have won. But he caught it. It was the last out, and the Cubs win. I have never seen that before. So
Well, let's
fucking awesome.
let's bring John in because I want to talk about the Cubs. He's a Cubs fan, right?
Yeah, he bleeds Cubby blue pretty good. Old Johnny Kimler doing his open mic night last night, singing his songs. I love living in a state where weed's legal. It makes me happy. Capital Knockers are in London right now.
Yeah. Did you see? I put in the standings. It's the first time since 2013 that they've been in last.
Oh shit! Look at this guy's stash.
There he is.
Wyatt Earp himself.
Yeah, no beard. Like last time, he had the big beard.
I don't think he had a
Good.
big beard last time. I think he was sporting a stash. Maybe nothing.
All right.
What's up, Johnny K?
Hey.
I could be thinking of the photo from the auction, but I thought last time you were on the podcast, you had the full beard, big beard.
Goatee.
Was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Or
I
maybe
have
I
to
did.
say, it was really nice of you to give up a night of work to be with us tonight. I mean, you
Well,
had your chance where you could have worked behind the bar, made some cash and shit, and you decided, you know what? This podcast means more to me than making money.
I can't say I was absolutely in the mindset getting the call 10 minutes ago to get to shift into work mode.
Yeah.
But if at the end of the day, if Dan couldn't make it, I was gonna go in.
Right.
Right.
That would have been
I mean,
fine. We would have rescheduled. We would have had you. I mean,
Yeah.
we would have done it tonight, I
Yeah.
guess, without a guest, but we would have had you on next week or something.
No, I mean, absolutely. Podcast number 2, but if work was in trouble, that would probably been the main priority.
Yeah, that's what I told you. Don't worry about it.
Well, the other thing too is, I mean, it made more sense to just offer it to Lindsay and see if she just wanted to work a double.
Yeah, what she ended up doing.
Yeah.
Or if Lindsay wanted to do the podcast, we could have done that.
A rating spike.
I'm not so sure that Lindsay knows fuck all about baseball.
She'd fit right in.
So she'd be here bored as shit and going, "What do you say? What was that?"
Jeff, you might not know this about her, but she's a gambler on sports.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, we have a bet on the table. I bet her the Jets are going to make the playoffs this year.
That's not the worst bet in the world.
No, it's not.
No, make the playoffs? Jeez. They can't even make the playoffs. That's just too Jetsian.
Well, she's anti Aaron Rodgers. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
think
that
she
always
let
helps to
I
get
think she
a bet
let
like
her
that on the
emotion.
table.
I think she let her emotions cloud her judgment.
So
Shouldn't do that.
I'm going to share my screen and just try to get the standings out of the way pretty quick because there's so much to talk about. Other than
Yeah, like another 4-2 for me. I'm 9-3 in the last since I started trading everybody off.
all right, so you see it. Good.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah. So Sats went 6-0.
of
Yep.
course.
It's funny. The top two teams went 6-5, and the bottom two went 0-1.
Hey, real quick
Neutral.
though, as long as you bring up Doctor, dude, how about the triumphant return of Sybaris this weekend?
Wow. Did you see that?
I was standing right in front of you, brother.
That's right, you were. I was a little fucked up. What a great show.
Yeah, yeah. It was
That was the
awesome.
first time I've seen them, and they did not disappoint. And I really liked the style of music they play. They were tight as hell. It helps when you got 3 of those 4 people up there are your friends. But the fact that they are my friends and I've never seen them play before, it shows you how long they've been out of commission.
You said
And
it's been 10 years, right?
yeah, more than that, like 20, like 13.
Oh, I thought
I
he
thought
said.
I thought they said 10, but
Well, they play Dark Lord Days every once in a while, just get back together to do that. But I mean, that album that they wrote, it's like what Clayton was telling me was back in 2010. And then they kind of split up shortly afterwards. Um, went on a hiatus apparently, but I'll tell you what, they're good, man. They are fucking good. They kind of
yeah,
reminded me of if you cross Florence and the Machine with My Bloody Valentine and Proto Martyr, you get Sybaris.
yeah. I was blown away. It was awesome.
Yeah, fucking great. So now I look forward to seeing them again
Oh, for sure.
If
because
it
I
And there
was
was that
10,
genuinely
great
like
there
their
was that
shit.
great moment. There's that great moment in their last song when when it was rising to its peak, and then the L goes by right behind him, and then the stage lights went on. That was pretty cool.
well,
Anyways,
if it was 10 years ago, that coincides with our standings here because the Knockers, the last time they were in last was 10 years ago in 2013. I actually researched
Wow.
it. I had to find out, and it was
Well, Chris is in
December
London
1st.
right now. He's probably not checking on his team too much at right now. So
I don't know if that's the case, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know this, but it was funny in 2013. The week before he ended up in last, he was in 10th and Hack was in last. So they switched places 10 years ago too. So it's kind of funny. But anyway, so Hack is finally out of the basement. He only went 1-5, but it was good enough to get out by a half game. And of course, we saw Satch, went 6-0, and his leads up to 14, and the model says it'll be 20 when all said and done. He even said that third place would be 25 out. It's gonna be like 86 Mets in the NL East or something. It's just
yeah, look at those daddies are moving up the ranks quickly.
Daddies earned 9. Yeah, good 4-2.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm 9-3 over the last 2 weeks, so I'm kind of glad I made the moves I made, and it's been helping out. And I got Injin Ryu coming back tomorrow to pitch.
Yeah, we can see the
dude, I
last.
blew it last week. I left over 50 points on the bench. I should have got the 6-0 last week. It's really eating at me. It's haunting me.
You mean the week before this one?
Yeah.
I hate
Oh
that.
well.
I hate that.
My goal is to catch John.
Like I said, I'd rather put a guy in and have him get bombed than to have it on my bench. That's just the
Well,
word.
no, it was not. It was that. It was by act. It wasn't strategy. It was.
Oh, I know. It was.
Well, you know what?
That's even worse, right?
But Lou, to that point though, I'd actually rather than play a player and him blow up, I'd rather see the points on the bench because then you still have those innings. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not even sure that I'm saying it in a logical way. I'm just saying that, like,
I know, yeah, right.
all week long, I'll go like, well, I should have, 21 more points. And then, like it just
Right.
drives me nuts. I hate it.
Oh, I lived it last week.
Well, Buddha Kings, Bake still on top, Bizzotti still the laggards. Spears way up in games, and Let's Play is the one that's way under in games. What are you going to do between now and the end of the year to that's just free money, right?
I've made some philosophical changes. I'm gonna
What,
try that.
minus 57?
Yeah, I
Last
know.
year you were plus 38. What did you do? Not play a pitcher all week?
No.
This is games. What?
Oh, games. Oh, this is okay. So that's talking about your hitters.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna fix that. I'm aware.
Well, yeah, you're going to be
Right
going after a lot of other players' hitters and giving up pitching. Well, if you want Randy Arozarena, Chris wants cheap pitching for him. Cheap, controllable pitching.
Knockers are right in the middle, and then IP Overage still baked way out in front, and now Holy Cows is under John now. So
Wow.
Cows have the lowest overage. It's not an underage. And then Weekend Warriors were Satch and Gags at the top. Each gained a couple of games, and Spear for the second week in a row is the straw spinner, and they lost 3 games. So that's 2 weeks in a row they were on pace for the 6-0. Last week they ended up 4-2, and this week 3-3. So
I thought Satch was in the lead going into the weekend. How does he get 2 more games up on what he's already 6-0?
according to this, it was Spear that was on top, but I could be wrong. Should I check it?
Yeah, not that
Check my
important.
email. I'll check it later when you guys are talking, maybe. And then Lucky Babbitt hitting points. Still McBride's on top. Daddy's unlucky. Now this is for the year. I think last week you said something about the week. I just want to make sure this is not for the week. This is the year. So it's 30 extra points that McBride's have that theoretically they don't deserve, and you're 32. So that's a little more than a win that you would expect just from like luck, Babbitt luck.
Yeah.
And then lucky pitching points is McBride's now. I think that should be in red because I think it was me last week. And Satch is way under still. And I guess that's good news for us. It could be 3 games worse than it is. So predicted top 4: Satch, Gags, Sombrero, Spear. Players of the week, we had Gary
How about the
Sanchez.
resurgence of Gary Sanchez?
Gary Sanchez, player of the week for the McBrides. Catcher of the week. Alonso for the Gags.
Yeah, congratulations and you're welcome.
Thank you. And Bobby Witt for the Dads.
That guy had a hell of a week, man. There was 2 days in a row where he was just one thing away from a cycle in 2 consecutive games. The first one was a triple. The second one was a double. So you combine the 2 days together, he got himself a cycle. But hit home runs in both games. Put up probably about I think 9 RBIs, 2 home runs, a triple, a double, a couple singles. And yeah, great day. And he had a couple stolen bases too. So that was 2 days in a row where he I think it was 29 points split between 2 days. One was 16, one was 13. Not bad.
Lars Newport for Satch. Aaron Savali, who just got traded to the Rays.
Yeah, newly traded.
Ryan Yarbrough, he's out. He was out there as of this morning.
Is he one of those? Is he still one of those 2-inning pitchers, 2-inning starters?
I think that he started, but I could be wrong. He's on the Royals, right?
I'm guessing if he
was on a Tampa Bay.
If he was scoring points, he was probably the back end of the piggyback.
Maybe, yeah. Right? I mean, he's not on Tampa anymore. I think he's KC. But I could be wrong on that, but I know he's not a Ray. And then Giovanni Gallegos for Let's Play. I actually do this thing where I take the reliever points and subtract the innings from it, but it ended up being my guy, so I didn't want you to think that I was like putting my guy in there, planting yours, because Gallegos had more points, so I left it there.
Yeah,
Gallegos had 5 innings, and I think my guy had 3 innings. So
it's nice to be on a leaderboard. Thank you.
Sure. All right, and let's we'll look at the rates and ranks, and we'll take a look at John's team here in focus here. So let's play. You can see the hitting is pretty good, near the top three. And pitching.
Look at that. I actually made some progress in getting out of all 10s and 11s.
Isn't that funny? Look
On the
at
hitting.
your pitching is like near the top. I mean, it's one of the best. ERA and FIP wise, runs per game. This is theoretically how many runs would be scored by that team. That's it's.
Look at all the ones on the hitting for paging Dr. Satchel.
I guess the only thing I can think is that I know that you have less innings than most people, even though you're not under. But it's your games played. If you attack that, you probably really would make a big difference, because you can see rate wise, your hitting is. I mean, Satch is number one, but you're probably, 2 or 3, right? I mean, and then your pitching is actually pretty good, right? At least on a rate basis. So I think if you by the end of the year, when everybody else's innings comes down, this will play more for you, so to speak. But your games played underage is really heavy, so you.
Yeah, I'm fixing that.
Something tells
I
me John's going to be.
I held on to a couple pitchers too long, seeing if they're going to develop, and I've moved on. I dumped a bunch of them.
What's nice about this is that this part of it is in your hands, really. I mean, you can, you're one of the few teams that can actually do something to improve. Like, a lot of us are just where we are. There's not much we can do. But you and Baked can definitely get more games in. So, and there's probably some other ones too. Let's see your save percentages in the middle. I don't know. So, I'll just look at one more thing here. That your save hold points, you are second. So yeah, your bullpen's good. It's weird on a rate basis. I bet you in the rotisserie you're doing better than you would be in our points league here, like the Roto Fun tab. Let's see where you are.
I lost Jordan Romano went down. I don't know for how long, and he was doing really well as far as accumulating saves, and then they picked up Jordan Hicks from St. Louis. Wonder if he's going to lose his closer position.
Yeah, he's one of my starting pitching qualifiers.
Yeah, that was a great pickup.
So I definitely don't need for him to be the closer, but if he was the closer, that would be nice.
Right.
So.
Well, he's been closing for the Cardinals.
Yeah. Let's see. That's Buddha. So Buddha plays third, getting a little bit screwed, but not too bad. What is it? It is 2 games. Yeah. So they say you should be 55-47, just according to your total points, and you're 53-49. So probably a little luck will come your way. Usually that evens out. And, games played. I said that you're the leader in underage. That's not a contradiction in terms. And there's some other teams with you. I mean, Baked, obviously, Sombreros. Those are the big ones. Even Satch to a certain extent. And then innings, you can see that play is pretty well positioned. There's only one team with fewer innings than you, and that's the Cows. So McBride's is still far above any company here. They've got Daddies and Bizzotti are at 101 and 100. So,
well, right now, my hitting points, I'm like third, and my pitching points, I'm like last. Like I've had a bad year pitching, and it's all been starters getting negatives.
This is your hitting points. So,
and
Daddies are 44.
Knockers are right there with me.
Yeah, so you're like looks like third in the league in hitting points.
Yeah, but I'm last in the league in pitching points by a little bit.
You can see play has fewer hitting points than you, but their rates were better. So that's really in John's control. But you're going to be busy. And then predicted final standings. So from here on out, Stat should have the best record, and still thinks that McBride's will have the worst because of that overage, the pitching overage, and it doesn't assume that anybody will make up their underage in games played. So if you do, you'll outperform this, this estimate. So,
It'll be interesting to see how close this all ashes out at the end of the season.
so here it is. Now it's Knockers are predicted last, Hack a couple games above that, and Daddy's safe for the moment. Almost 10 games out of last, and Baked too. So Baked doesn't look like they're going to come in last. Because again, if they actually, improved their games played stuff, they would. This would be underselling them. So it looks good for them. But you can see the end of the year, it's predicting it's just going to be such a yawner. The Gangs 20 back, Sombrero's 25 back, Spear 28 back, and here's Play.
Basically, it's playing for second, third, and fourth.
Yeah. So here's Play 29 back. You can see that obviously it would be easy for Play to be at least in third, if not second. So that's still in play, so to speak, right? So, all right. Is that enough of that?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So, John, one of our commenters suggested that Jeff and I maybe ask our guests a few more questions.
Who was commenting that?
Let's just say it was Lisa S. No, that's too obvious. L. Simpson. No, that was. I don't know if you guys remember that joke. Principal Skinner. All right. But his idea was to, what was your best buy in the auction? Do you think, or do you regret keeping anybody? Who was the guy that you regret keeping?
I get that.
Most?
Shoot, it's funny. I wish I can't recall. I mean, I know who's on my team. I can't access my team while we're doing this.
Yeah.
Let me think. Well, I can tell you he's been a disappointment, though he's turned around. Corbin Burns and Machado
Right.
have turned it around, but they got to very slow starts.
Right.
They were dragged very early on, and those are the two guys I spent the most money on.
How much was Burns? Do you remember?
33.
Okay, yeah.
Let's see who do we like. Cal from Seattle. I like keeping him as a catcher. He's been doing good for me.
Yeah, aren't you glad you didn't trade him to me before the auction was over?
Raleigh, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me do a mental thing right here. Swansby. Swanson's starting to play a little better. A lot of the guys that I picked up at draft, thinking they were going to be leadoff. India's been moved down the order. Swanson's been moved down the order. I'm hoping for some positive regression from some of these players.
Yeah. That is a big change. If they move from the leadoff spot, a lot of times those guys, they move way down. Like they're not going to move them from first to fourth or something. They'll go from first to seventh. Like it's a big drop. Sometimes they go to ninth.
Right.
The guy hitting leadoff and then hitting ninth. I think maybe it was Tommy Edman was like that for me last year. Maybe I can't remember. I don't even know if I had him last year.
Yeah. I should have protected Logan Webb, but it came at right at the part of the draft where I was starting to run low on money, and I had some other holes. And plus on the preseason, I won a lot by preseason rankings, and he was 10th on the list of the people I was keeping or whatever. But he's turned out to have a great season, at least for
who has Webb?
Fucking
is it Sash?
Phil.
Phil
got him for 8, yeah. So that's when I walked away from the draft, I remember feeling like that's one that got away for sure.
It's tough with Burns because anybody would have had him as what, top 3 at least, right? Pitcher, top 5.
Well, in the rankings I had.
I'm talking about Burns.
Oh yeah, easily top 3.
Yeah,
100%.
Right. So it's and then what? You would have had Alcantara would have been possibly 1 or something.
Right.
Right.
So.
I guess that's why this is entertaining, right? Because it's not like things happen the way they should all the time. Maybe what they happen the way they should about half the time. Maybe I don't know.
Right. You gotta stay water. You gotta stay fluid. And that's a problem I've had in the past. I've I've been more project orientated on some players where I would get them on, and I like some of their underlying numbers, and I'd want to keep them, and especially when it comes to pitchers, and instead of churning and burning a little bit more. I mean, obviously, you got to churn and burn to stay competitive in this league. And I wasn't doing that. I was holding on to players, hoping they would develop, and I'm more emotionally prepared to cut ties with some of my projects now.
Oh, dude, I get you, man. I just fucking dumped a bunch of people to get them off my fucking team and try to get some new blood in and see if it changed things. And it's worked so far, but
I've had a couple weeks too. I don't know if you can change this, Lou, but I've had a couple weeks where I've had upwards of five day-to-day players that you can't put on the IL.
Yeah,
and you gotta hold on to them.
Yet,
you get 5 players on the day-to-day.
Yeah.
That's hard to get around. Is there anything? Can you make a day-to-day slot on the?
They don't have that available. I don't know. I'm not thinking that they will, but if they did, we would definitely utilize it.
I mean, I've had 3 at one time before, and it kind of hamstrung me.
No, I literally had 5 at one time. Position
Brutal.
players. Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
So
looking at each other.
Well, another question was like, who's the MVP of your team so far? You think maybe a guy like more than their dollar what you spent.
Spencer Spear has been good for me. He's a top 12. I got him for off the waiver wire for nothing. He's been a top 12, left fielder, top 12 infield, first baseman, so I can move him. He helps loosen up my lineup where I can move players around.
Yeah,
for the way I construct my teams, it's very helpful for me to have a guy that can go from the outfield to the infield.
Yeah, definitely.
Always.
I mean, I know from my team is like actually over first base through third and short, and then I'm all under at all the outfield spots. So if I have that, I did pick up somebody now that qualifies at first and outfield, and I'm hoping that will help me a little bit because there's a lot of times I have a corner infielder on the bench, and now I can have him in one of those outfield spots.
Right. It's good to have 2 in the infield that can play both corner and middle infield, because that opens a ton of that solves a lot of lineup problems about fitting guys in on off days and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I got Luis Arias for $10, and I can play him in a middle infield or corner infield.
That's nice.
And he's a top 10 second baseman and top 12 first baseman, so he's worked out for me.
I hear he's hitting for a high average this year too.
Yeah, something else, huh?
He's crazy good.
What is his average at now? Because I know he had some like an 0 for 5, but then he's had some good games recently, so I don't know what it's at.
I'll find out real quick.
I think it's over 380 anyway, right? 385. I know it dropped. It's so easy to drop when you're at that level, Like 1 for 3 drops your average,
Right.
1 for 3 in a walk, your average went down.
He went 3 for 4 today.
Nice.
He is batting. Oh, bitch. Fuck.
Does that include today?
I think I've got too much going on my computer. Hold on. Let me just turn off the that tracker. And I'll bring up Mr. Kimmler's team. And
I did a couple home runs today. I just saw that before we. before I got online.
Do you see the
All right.
Jays and Orioles score by any chance?
No.
I
Oh
saw
no.
I saw
Is
Bichette
Bassett
came out of that game.
is Bassett being lit up?
Yeah, he allowed some runs,
Fuck.
but Bichette came out of that game with a right knee. They don't know if it's minor or what. He was turning first and he stopped. He took a aggressive turn to maybe go to second, changed his mind, rightly so. But when he stopped, he hurt his knee. So I don't know.
What is with Yahoo not putting their batting average in here?
I know. Isn't that fucked up?
Fucking
What?
stupid. Yahoo, is there somebody who doesn't know anything about baseball running this fucking site?
No.
I swear to God, they're doing more stupid
I
shit.
think
Well, let's talk
Doing
about
stuff.
that. That's okay. I'm glad you brought that up.
that's in my power. I could actually choose batting averages. I can only choose 15 categories, and I figured they give you the hits and the at bats.
I'm talking about when you click on that little box next to them, it should give you a batting average.
On their notebook, yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're and okay, so they changed that last week.
Yeah, they did. They keep changing shit on the fly mid-season. Do
Right.
that fucking shit off season.
Okay, I'll
Don't
tell you
fuck
something.
with people
Okay,
mid-season like that.
there are I didn't like it at first either, but I poked around a little bit with that, and there are some advantages. For instance, okay, go to one of the players' squares. You tap on, it gives you their player history, it gives you some research, it gives you at the top bar.
Yeah.
Can you see it? Can you put it on? Can you put it on your screen where I can play along?
Jeff can share.
No, what I'm doing is I'm looking up Aries' fucking batting average since fucking Yahoo's a bunch of bitches. 377 he's batting right now. He's got an OPS of 899.
Now, is that through yesterday, not including today, 3 for 4?
Probably doesn't include today's 3 for 4, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It could, but I usually think it's like
I
after
don't
all
think
the
they
games are
refresh
played.
it. Yeah, at the end of the day. But anyways, this is one thing. The new thing does. This is an advantage that the new format has. For instance, you can go to the top. Okay, if you want to know what a player was bought for at auction, you can go to the top. You can hit the history, and it'll give you, whatever. If you paid $3 for it, $33, right? Now
Did
in
you
the
punch in
past,
all the dollar figures for all the players, Lou?
What is it?
When you entered in the players, did you put on all the dollar figures?
yeah, it must.
Oh,
But they do
And so,
something weird. There's a lot of $1 guys in Yahoo that aren't $1. So I'm not sure. I think it's because I said if you pick up a guy during the year, his salary is $1. If you pick up a free agent that wasn't taken in the auction, but
right.
the way we do it, if he was taken in the auction, he still has that salary tied to him. So I don't think Yahoo understands that part of it.
Hmm.
So you can't.
But anyway.
You got to use that spreadsheet that I sent out.
Yeah.
I always make a mistake on the beginning of the year, so the second time I sent it is the one with all the correct dollar values. The thing that was wrong the first time was that I have those guys that are listed as X guys, and they're not X guys. Those are when you increase the guy by $27 or those $11 50% guys, they're not X guys this year. But every year it seems like almost every year I put them in as X guys.
Yeah, Yahoo had this is all part of their like when they updated it, they were putting in the sports book. Now you can bet through this fucking thing.
Hey, I just want to
Bets.
show. I want to show you guys something. I want to show you guys something neat about the change that they made, though, that I found useful.
All right,
Okay.
where do you go?
Okay, so you're on. So you have the player. You have the little box next to it that will give you the last couple games, where they hit, what their games coming up are.
The little
Are you
notebook
on that?
thing.
Right.
I
the
can get
notebook.
on one.
Okay. So
right.
okay. So go to player history. Go to the history.
Oh yeah, I've seen that before.
Okay,
Yeah, they had that. They had that in the old one.
Right, but this is what's improved upon it. And okay, let's say you wanted to know what the next player on that list was, right? Like, let's say you're comparing teams, or you're comparing a list of free agents, or whatever.
Okay.
Before you would have to click onto the next person's thing, right? And then once you got on that click to hit the history. Now all you have to do is if you look to the left,
Yeah, I see that.
you see all the players' faces?
Yeah.
Just click on the player's face you want to compare him to.
It
Pick
switches
one.
right over to him.
Switches right over to the same page.
Okay.
That's cool. that makes things easier. Not just for that. I'm just saying for comparing. Well, whatever. It's a helpful hint if you want to compare players, or if you want to compare available players, or if you want to make a trade and you're jumping around to see how much did you pay for it, how much is, I don't know. It's a lot easier. It's a lot less clicks.
Yeah.
Did you know it was there, Jeff?
You know, don't care enough.
I like the history tab. You can see like if he was bought in the auction, and then when he was dropped, and then he was, I like that history tab.
Like if you're researching a trade and you're comparing, like I can compare my team, Lou, to your team, right? Mm-hmm. It's so much easier to jump around from player to player to see what you paid for them. Well, what did you pay for this player? It's easier. It's half the clicks.
And that's what you're seeing on your phone?
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that. I'm always on the computer, so there's like it's a little bit different for the computer. It was just as easy before. It's just I don't like them changing format mid-season like that, throwing you off. You know what I mean?
It's way easier on the phone now, and I only use the phone. It's way easier.
Oh, I can see that. But when you're doing this shit on the computer all the time, don't fuck with my shit. You're giving me the same information. You're just giving it to me, looking at a little like gaudier, bold text.
A couple more suggested questions, but you sort of already answered it.
Wait, I got one more question. First of all, you weren't on the app, right? You weren't on the app page. You were on the website page, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And now here's another thing too. I wanted to show you, Lou, that maybe you're totally aware of it. But if you go to the home page, like the league page, right?
Okay.
And then if at the second line, if you click standings, it gives you all those bar graphs about where
yeah.
So you know that. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you were talking about the features on the other site that you wanted to move to because it had added features.
Well, it just had added ways that you could configure the league. Not so much like features. I think features like that, especially visual ones, I think Yahoo would be better anyway. But it was just like you could, for instance, you could have a different games played max at the catcher position as opposed to
Gotcha.
the other positions. So you could really customize it. It's things that Yahoo could do, right? But they haven't so far. I mean, right. I guess they're doing pretty well with what they have. So I mean, I don't know how much incentive they have to change, to add things. But anyway, so two more suggested questions. One of them was sort of overlap when you talked about your MVP, because I mentioned over price. So I don't know, just clear MVP without considering price. Who's that on your team?
I haven't had. Oh, that's easy. Ohtani, fucking king this year.
Ohtani, the hitter.
The Ohtani, the hitter, is the best player on my team.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's delivered. Yeah, he's worth every cent for sure.
And then you said a rise at 10, so that was one of the questions.
Well, no, I wouldn't put him second. We were talking about being able to move players from outfield to infield, or from middle infield to corner infield. Spencer Spears probably been my most valuable.
Yeah, that's right. So would that be what you would consider your best buy at the auction?
Off the waiver wire? Let me think real quick.
But was he off the waiver wire?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was the next question. It was what's your favorite waiver pickup that you've had this year? Or free agent. It doesn't have to be a waiver pick. It could be just a guy off the scrap heap,
Dude, I thought I had a good one yesterday. I got a Randall Gritcheck.
He homered tonight.
I know he did actually. I got him when I put a bid on him, understanding that Colorado still has half their games in Colorado.
Yeah.
In August, and he's the number 3 hitter. I like that pickup. Now he's number 7 for the Angels, but yeah, I haven't really pulled any really fucking I haven't made any kind of magic happen, to be honest with you. I haven't pulled any players that what was I looking at? Oh, okay. I know you're on the you go to when you do the top 25 hitters or top 10 hitters or whatever. A guy I had twice and dropped twice what's his name? Lane from Washington.
Lane Wilson or Lane Thomas.
Something
Lane
Lane.
Thomas.
Lane Thomas, right?
Yeah.
He was drafted and dropped. I had him. Did I lose you guys? Okay.
No, we're here.
I picked him up twice and dropped him twice. Then I saw the Bizzotti picked him up and dropped him, and now held on. He's a top 25 hitter. He was like a preseason 200 or something like that. That's a guy. That's a guy I let go twice.
24th best hitter. But I mean, Lane Thomas, you're not thinking he's gonna do this, you know?
Well, yeah, exactly. You know, you think, oh, he plays in Washington, he's not going to get any counting stats, you know?
Well, runs batted in, but those guys on those teams, it's kind of nice because the playing time is assured, you know?
Right. But he's having, I mean, you know, preseason, he was in the 200s. There's no one else on that first page that was in the 200s. He's a steal off the waiver wire for nothing.
Yeah, what does this mean? Ohtani
And he had a pedigree, right? I mean, it's not like he came out. I think he was ignored mostly because he played for Washington.
What does this mean in preseason Yahoo rankings? Ohtani, the hitter, was 283rd.
Yeah, that's some kind of snafu.
I can't imagine. Last round, everybody's like, "Oh, Ohtani's still out there. I'll take him." So, well, you can see the usual suspects. I mean, Sombreros of Acuna. Anybody else here in the top? Corbin Carroll. You know, Jeff, you asked about rookies of the year last week, and I've got the fan graphs sorted by WAR for rookies, so you can we'll look at that too. But yeah, Carroll's way out in front. The American League's much more interesting.
He's an MVP candidate.
Hold on, let me see him. Let's see what's going on here.
But well, I'll just keep going. And then Play's got Ohtani, and Spears got Freddie Freeman, and Christian Yelich. Nice to see him as a top half pager again. And
hey, you know what? How about this? Why don't you sort by position? We might see some new names.
Well, we could do that.
Adolis Garcia, man, what a year!
Yeah, he's a stud. He's an ex-Cardinal.
Yeah, him and Rosarina, same time. They left it around the same time, went to different teams, and
here's your top catchers: Rushman, Heim, who's on the IL. Is he gone for a while, or?
Yeah, he might be done for the year. He might require surgery on his wrist.
I wonder if maybe the Mets will send Narvaez to the Rangers. Maybe the Mets aren't done with the Rangers. You know, they could do some more things. Will Smith for the Gags, and he's day to day. There we go. Satch with Sean Murphy, and Gags have Rio Muto. McBride's with William Contreras. So that's the newly acquired William Contreras. They got him from Satch and Wilson Contreras. For all he's been maligned, at least at catcher, he's what is that, 8, 7?
Yeah, they got look at their stats are almost identical.
All right, let's look at first base. So Freeman and Olsen for Satch, Nathaniel Lowe for the Dads, third best first baseman.
Mm-hmm.
Goldschmidt. So Satch is pretty set at first. Olsen and Goldschmidt. Christian Walker for Sombreros. And Justin Turner, I guess, who qualifies at first for Posadi, and Alonso for the Gags.
You know what? If Alonso wasn't out a couple weeks there, he'd be right up there in the top 3.
Of course, he was on the Dads most of the year. And then Vladdy, who's probably moving up.
Yeah, he got off to a slow start this year, huh?
You know, the home run derby curse doesn't seem to hold with Vlad, because he's hit better after the derby than he did going in. So
couldn't get any lift before.
All right, second base. Betts would be the top second baseman. Cows, of course, he qualifies at short and right also. Semien, the Gags, Ketel Marte for the Dads, along with Nico Horner.
Nico Horner. There's a good pickup.
Yeah, I kept him from last year, right? I think so.
So Ozzie Albies for the Cows. So I imagine he's playing. Who knows how he's mixing and matching Betts and Albies. Shortstop second. Justin Turner, who also was qualified at first. Man, he's had a good year, huh? I mean, I knew he wasn't done, but this has got to exceed anybody's expectations, right? And, Jonathan India for Let's
Why
Play.
the hell would they even think about trading that guy?
Was it?
I don't understand why the Reds would even consider trading Jonathan India. It's not like he's going to, he's got years of control left. Why the fuck would you trade him unless you had somebody that really burning up the minor leagues?
Well, if they're going to use De La Cruz, maybe it's short. They would move McLean to second. So I think it's just a numbers game there.
I
But
know,
now,
but still, it's like
now
if you
that
got a
he's
guy
on the
like that, move
IL,
him to third or some shit. Move him to third and
maybe
shift
it'll help.
everybody else over.
Maybe it'll help the Reds in the long run that India's on the IL right now, and they're probably not going to be able to trade him anyway, right? So.
No. Speaking of third.
Third base, we're going to see Turner again, right? Jose Ramirez for Sombreros. Yeah. And Austin Riley for Hack. And there's Justin Turner again for Bizzatti. And Bregman for Spear.
Hey, we got a Bobby Witt signing.
Bobby Witt Jr. at third, too. And Devers. Look at that. 1 point ahead of Devers. How about that?
Newly acquired Devers.
I know Devers has missed some games. Well, I guess he's only got 6 fewer games than Witt.
Yeah.
Arenado for the Cows and Josh Jung, who's one of the young, I guess, I don't know, Josh Young. Yash.
Yeah.
Yash.
Well, he's another one. He's one of those in the American League. He's one of those that's going to go up against Yoshido for that Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, it's Young. Young is there's another guy too. Well, I know Gunner's coming on now because he hasn't played a full year.
See how he goes.
Yeah, the American League race is much more interesting than the National League. We'll look at that real quick too. So at shortstop, here's Betts again, Semyon again, Lindor for McBride's, Bobby Witt again, the dads, Bichette, who came out of the game today with a knee, and I don't know, it was hard to tell like how severe it was. It could be
like the Holy Cow's got a problem with the day-to-days, huh?
Yeah. Wander Franco, the right Wander Franco on baked. Nico Horner for the dads, along with Witt, and Tatis making an appearance there for the Knockers.
He got off to a late start too.
And you go to left field, you're going to see Juan Soto's on top for the dads, even with its relatively slow start. And Corbin Carroll for Sombreros, Christian Yelich for Spear, Lane Thomas. There we go. John's nemesis.
Sounds like a furniture store.
Lane, yeah. Or a ladies store or something. I don't know. Like a big woman's store or something. Big ladies.
Yeah.
Kyle Schwarber for Satch, Rosarena for the Knockers, and Stephen Kwan for Spear. Haven't heard much about Kwan this year. Haven't heard much about Kwan this year.
No.
He's not doing terrible.
It's sneaky.
All right, center. Corbin Carroll. Adolis for the dads. Luis Robert for McBride's. There's Lane Thomas again. Julio Rodriguez for Satch. Down year, but he's still fifth at center field. Nimmo for Hack. Tatis for the Knockers, and George Springer for the Knockers. All right, last one. We'll just look at right field. Acuna, obviously, he's leading everybody, all positions. Betts for the Cows, who probably plays second and short more for the Cows than he does right field. Juan Soto for the dads. Adolis for the dads. Corbin Carroll for Sombreros. Kyle Tucker for the Knockers. They gave up De La Cruz and they got Kyle Tucker. He's a pretty good player too. And there's Lane Thomas qualifying at left, center, and right. That's nice. All right.
Okay, so Lou, Jeff, because of that feature that I was showing you, Jeff, that you didn't give a fuck about, where you can switch from player to player, it made it really easy to accumulate, to add up by position what each player went for, what the at draft. Okay, for instance, you pull up the second, and I pulled up the first 15 players, starting with Betts and Semyon all the way down. I made it 15 players because we have a middle infield spot. And I did that for second base, first base, shortstop, and third. It took no time at all because all you had to do is write down the number, click on the next space, write down the number, click on the next space. While before, on my phone, I would have had to back out, find the next guy, tap on, then tap on the number again, then back out. So it made it really easy. And this is what for each positions, first, second, short, and third, if you total up the first 15 players, right, on the leaderboard, first base comes in at, if you added up all their salaries, the first 15, $357. Second base comes in $189. Third, shortstop, $359, and third, $294. So there's a lot of value on that on that second page. There's a lot of 4s, 8s, 1s, 3s, 10s, 1s, 5s. And you have bets at the top that, it's at 81, which is a lot of money. If you take bets out, you're talking about 100. Okay. Now you're thinking, well, second base, well, the reason why it's so discounted is because they don't score as many points, per player. And I found that's not necessarily true because I added up all the points for the second baseman. It came up to 37-47. And then I can't remember if I didn't write down. I don't know if it was the first base or what was one of the other categories, the 300 categories, either first or third or first or short. Come up to 4,000. Now, if you divide each of those numbers by, I should have done 15, but 12, it doesn't matter. That's 338 points per spot versus 338 points per spot for first base, 312 points per spot for second base. So though you're paying drastically less money for second baseman, they don't score that much less than, the more expensive first baseman.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd throw that in there.
Hey, Lou.
That was me bringing some Lou to the broadcast.
No, I like
man.
So, somebody went down the rabbit hole.
I wanted to press Lou and crunch some numbers.
No, I like
Dude,
it.
you
So
crunched them, man.
I just want to be sure. So you guys can qualify to more than one position in an analysis, right? So Betts was at second and
short, I just went by the list. I didn't. Yeah.
No, this is interesting.
Very.
Yeah. It's that people pay. We paid as a league. We paid so much less. For instance, if you take Betts and Semien out of the second base category, these are the numbers that the players went for at auction: 10, 13, 4, 8, 1, 3, 12, 10, 1, 5, and the 2 1s I think maybe were waiver wires. Versus what's a good one? Like the shortstops went for 55, 81, 41, 35, 13, 33, 34, 71, 33.
It is a sexier position, isn't it?
Well, I'm granted, and it's sexier, but they don't score that many more points per position. There's not a big whole difference between 338 and 312, considering all the money that was spent.
Right.
It somewhat mirrors MLB too, right? I mean, lately shortstops have just been getting paid so much, and it hasn't always worked out so great so far, at least. But yeah, it's interesting.
It's got to piss you off. You were drafted as a shortstop and get moved to like third or second and they keep you there forever. And all of a sudden it's like you're getting paid less because they wouldn't let you play your normal position because they had somebody there already.
How about running backs in the NFL, man?
Oh my God.
Those guys.
Boy, has that gone to shit. Yeah.
I mean, those guys make you can franchise tag them for less than a cornerback. So if you're a talented young athlete, you'd rather be a cornerback than a running back.
I think it's a travesty that the NFL's gone that way because basically those guys take the most abuse. They get hurt a lot.
Right.
But it's like you can't devalue. I mean, it's one of the most talented it's one of the most talented positions on the field. You can't devalue it that much because of the fucking blood and sweat they put into that position to get their team hard-earned yards, and you're going to pay them shit when you give some prima donna wide receiver who can run fast down the sidelines a boatload more money, and he's not taking hardly a third of the abuse.
They're typically and the running back is typically the face of the franchise. They're the players that they use to what are you talking about?
Not anymore. It switched to the quarterback as a face of the
Okay, fine,
franchise.
fine, fine. The quarterback, but you follow, right?
Yeah,
I
but the
mean,
80s,
I
in
mean,
the
how many,
80s,
hey, how many cornerbacks can you name in the league? How many safeties can you name in the league? And then how many running backs?
yeah. It's just in the 80s and 90s were all about running backs, and all of a sudden it just switched.
And their average career is less than 4 years. It's why? Because you can get some rookie in the fourth round that can run behind 300-pound tackles just as well as an established veteran. Maybe
Well, it's a cross between the passing quarterbacks and the running quarterbacks. It's like any schmuck can fucking hand the ball off all game. But when you get a really good, they're all looking for good passing or running quarterbacks, and then that basically takes the ball out of the running back's hands. So he's not getting the ball as much as he used to. Remember back in the day, running backs used to get the ball like 40 fucking times a game. Now they're lucky if split between two fucking carriers if they're getting 11 carries each.
4 yards in a cloud of dust, right?
Well,
That was the NFL back in the day,
yeah,
and now it's all vertical downfield.
yeah. I think it's probably better for the running backs because they're not taking as much damage to the fucking noggin. Those guys run with their heads down and shit. I wouldn't be surprised if the NFL, the powers that be in the NFL, told these teams, "Hey, you got to start passing more. It's easier on the brain, and we don't want to be in fucking trouble with the CTE." I still see wide receivers get laid the fuck out though.
Going over the middle, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are usually the most violent collisions, right?
Oh yeah.
In a
Yeah. Those are
reception.
usually it's a safety or a linebacker doing that shit.
The running back, it's more close range stuff.
Right, and they're looking they're looking downfield as opposed to a receiver looking back at the quarterback with his back to the defense. Yeah, you're not allowed to hit what's the rule? What's it called? An unguard. What do you call it? Never mind. But yeah, they changed
I
the
know what
rules.
you're talking
You
about.
can't hit
It's
you can't
a
hit a defense. You can't hit a defenseless.
defenseless. How about this though? I mean, if you look at it, our position players have taken up the first 21 spots. Maybe I don't know if there's a closing pitcher or relief pitcher that's got a higher number than 22, but if that's true, then we got position players in the first 21 spots, and then all of a sudden your first pitcher shows up.
What are you looking at? I'm not sure.
Looking at don't look at preseason up there. Look at current. That's their current ranking.
Oh, well, but the replacement value for hitters is way easier than the replacement value for top line pitchers.
Yeah, I mean this
So
this
you
is
might
not
I
have
the
know, but
same as
points wise,
you
when it
might
comes
have
to points wise, this is what we're talking about here. It's like total points. 352
no,
is the first pitcher.
okay, but that first pitcher is more valuable than the hitter right in front of him, or the hitter 5 spot in front of him, because I mean, for instance, we were talking about this. Like Josh Naylor, who's a top 10 first baseman, got picked off the waiver wire 2 weeks ago. And these guys are available. While there's not there's a like for the top flight pitchers, there's no replacement value. You can't pick someone off the waiver wire that is as good as Garrett Cole, even though he might not be a top 10 player or a top 20 player.
I know somebody in this room right now who paid $1 for each one of their pitchers to start the season. Boy, they got up to a great start.
Yeah, pitching's been weird this year.
Peralta went for 2.
There was a lot of talk too. One of the things I read about Corbin Burns about his slow start is that the pitch clock totally threw him off. They gave a list of the slowest pitchers to home plate, between pitches in the league, and he was the 5th slowest between pitches, Corbin Burns. So
Really?
there a theory being he totally had to rework his approach,
Yeah.
and speed things up, which wasn't the way he'd been playing the game his whole life.
He's been pitching better lately, right?
He's clearly made adjustments.
Yeah, because he's right. He's peeking over here, right at the half page. But Cole's on top, and Eovaldi, who's on the IL now. and Gallen
Well,
for the
remember too, Lou didn't get off to that hot start on the back of his pitchers alone. He was really smart on picking up by spending up on catchers. Guys are going to play every day. You get a lot of value out of spending up for them because if you're not going to if you're not going to be rotating catchers in or carry 3 catchers, you need 2 guys that are going to play well every day, and he got them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Realmuto hasn't done great for the money. Anyways, I think like the most impressive catching is probably, Rushman certainly. And,
Yeah.
and even like
What's
William
what,
Contreras, who's like a little more than half of Realmuto and is very close in value.
well, okay, I hear you, but your theory was sound.
Yeah, well, I like catchers. I like catchers because they can be what would be mediocre at other positions and still
Is
be
this
good.
Rushman's second year?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
Lou,
was he rookie of the year last year?
He had to be, right? I can't imagine. I don't know. I mean, he came up around June 1st, end of May, something like that. It's funny. The Orioles' fortunes, certainly at least partially caused by Rushman. They changed, dramatically at the time that he got called up, and obviously he had a lot to do with it. But I mean, it wasn't just Rushman. But pretty good for the ego. Look, the Orioles, since Rushman got called up, I don't know if they have the best record, but it's damn good. I can't remember what they were saying.
Oh yeah, it's all their prospects. They picked the right guys, man. I mean,
then they have one of the higher rating. They didn't, and considering the people they pulled up, they still have a very high rated minor league system intact still.
yeah, they remind me of like the Cubs back in
cabinet.
like 2015.
They haven't, right? That's true. Hey Lou, before I forget to ask, how about you two, both you and Jeff? Who are your MVPs and who are the steals that you got? And the questions you asked me, what would be your answers?
Oh, geez, I don't know.
Drew, Lou, what was your shrewdest pick?
Jeez, I don't know. I don't know.
Nathan Eovaldi.
I don't think I picked. I think I picked him up after the season.
Yeah, still.
I think I got him. In the beginning.
I tell you what, keeping Zach Gallen at $3 and Justin Steele at 1 when they're both on this sheet, right? This first page of pitching is probably
fantastic.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So that's $4 right there that I've got invested in those 2 guys. Blake Snell, I think, was like $8 or something is what he paid for him. So between those 3 guys, I mean, they're like $12 worth of pitchers.
Blake Snell was such a Jekyll and Hyde.
Jekyll and Hyde?
Jekyll and Hyde pitcher last year. He was I'm sorry, I got caught in a burp right there. He was so Jekyll and Hyde in the sense that you never knew which one was going to show up.
Yeah. Well, actually, he's been pretty consistent this year.
Yeah.
Well, you can see, like, I think it was you that brought it up before, maybe even like last time you were on, but there's so many more good buys at pitcher than there were at hitters. It's like we pay full price for the hitters and then we try to get bargains at pitcher. And I think next year with the points change, I've tried to figure out how much more these pitchers will go for. They'll definitely go for more. I just don't know how much.
How about the fall of Shane McClanahan? He was like the top pitcher for a while there up until like the mid-June.
Yeah. It's too bad for Tampa because they lost a number of pitchers to injury too, and then they also had McClanahan performance not being as sharp.
Yeah,
as it was. But they just traded for Savali from the Guardians.
Yeah. Let's put it this way:
well.
McClanahan has not won a game since June 16th. He got 5 points with KC after that, -3 at Seattle, 12 points at Texas, -3 at Baltimore, and 6 at Houston.
Yeah.
And then he's got an August 1st, actually August 2nd date with New York Yankees. So it's just he's had a rough 5 outings here. Before that, he was gravy.
So dads have Gallen, Snell, and Steele. Just finish this up, and then Luis Castillo for Sombreros. So that's like what, fourth best starting pitcher, and Logan Webb for Satch. Gaussman for Let's Play, and Barrios for Bizzotti, fellow Blue Jay. Stroman for Spear. You know, I guess if they're keeping Bellinger and they traded for Candelario, they're probably not going to trade Stroman, right? Wouldn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was good to see because the Cubs. I just saw this like after our podcast last week, but you know, the Cubs have the highest run differential in that division. They're around like a plus 50. You know, and on average it takes
When
about
they win, they there's some games where they really blew out the other team. I was like hosting the suite last week, and I saw that 17-3 game.
yeah, that'll help that. And
That will help that, yeah.
unless they've
14
been
right there.
if they haven't been blown out themselves. But on average, it takes about 10 runs to get an extra win. So if the Cubbies, you know, had 100 and if they had 100 games, you'd predict that they would be, you know, 55 and 45 with that run differential. It's
Right.
not
What did
five,
they do? What did,
it's not
Go
5
ahead.
games above 500. You know, it's like 10 above 500. It'd be 5 extra wins. So
how the Cubs do tonight?
They were losing 6-2 last time I saw.
how's Tyone been pitching?
He's a spotty guy.
He's a
Cubs are in
real
the top of the 7th. It's 6-4 Cincinnati.
Tyone's a real key to their success, right? Because he was doing shitty, and you know, he's always been, you know, good, if not, you know, if not stunningly good. But
Eh,
they just needed him to be his normal self, a guy with an ERA around 4. That would have flown well.
yeah.
I had him earlier in the year, and you know, and even I dropped him. I'm pretty patient with starting pitchers, especially, and I had to let him go. Right? I think his
Oh, yeah,
ERA
like
was up towards
ERA,
6 or
Jesus.
7 back then. I don't know.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Really bad.
Sometimes you just gotta say, fuck off, you're gone.
Well, it depends if there's a better option out there, really. You know.
Yeah. All I know is
I'm glad
as
to
I
see the
started
Cubs
making
going.
trades, I started playing better.
I'm glad to see the Cubs going for it because they, you know, they really could win the division. They're what,
Yeah.
3.5 out, something like that.
Yeah, they're not very far out. But oh, here's one question I want to ask you, John. What did you think of Talkman's catch the other day to win the game?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Have you ever
I was
seen that before? Where somebody like
um,
won the game his last out, or if it would have gone over the fence, the Cardinals would have walked it off?
you know, am I wrong? Isn't that how when Burley got his perfect game? Wasn't there a last second? Like, it probably wasn't over the fence. No, but it was, wasn't it? It was at the
No, it
fence.
wasn't over the fence, but it was close.
It was at the fence.
It was,
But
yeah, he jumped up and caught that fucking thing.
was that the last out of the game?
I don't think it was, no. I think
Who
he
was
did
the
rob
outfielder?
a home run, but it wasn't the last out of the game. It was like in the 8th inning or some shit.
Who was the outfielder?
Who was the outfielder?
Yeah.
Oh.
But I'd like to, I have a feeling we've seen it somewhere before, but that's the only one I'll remember up until now.
Yeah.
That was amazing. That was amazing. I was at went to see Built to Spill at Wicker Park Fest, the only other band I saw besides Sivers, and went in for the last 2 innings to, you know, one of the bar pints on, you know, right there.
Oh, Lone
And
Owl.
watched the last 2 innings, and the crowd. I mean, that was that was a hell of an ending for sure.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So it's like the
Hopkins was
day.
playing
What was
good.
it? Was it the day before or 2 days before? Suzuki robbed the White Sox of a grand slam.
Yeah, they're playing exciting baseball for sure.
They are. They're doing some cool shit. Which is why it made made them not sell at the deadline and then decide to buy a little bit. They just got Heimer Candelario back.
Yeah,
They traded
he's
for him
having a great
today.
year.
It's
Yep.
he was meant to be a Cub. You know,
Yeah.
we drafted him, we liked him, but he went into a trade. We had to trade him to Detroit for Alex Avila and Justin Wilson. And boy, was that a bad trade.
Yeah. And he kind of floundered in Detroit. He didn't have it. This year's been great. Is
Who
he going to be
doesn't
playing third
flounder in
base?
Detroit?
He's been playing
Everybody.
third, yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep, he's a straight up third baseman, and that's what the Cubs need. Actually, they could actually use him as a DH too. Madrigal's been playing great defensively at third. He just has no power.
I saw a few games, you know, like this past week anyway. I saw Wisdom made an error, and I think he had 2 errors in the game, or maybe it was just an error in 2 consecutive games. But I wonder if that was part of their Candelario, you know, going out
Well,
on Candelario.
I'm kind of wondering if Wisdom doesn't get packaged in some deal to get him the hell out of here because he can't hit. He is just a home run hitter. He's basically what Kyle Schwarber is right now for the Philadelphia Phillies, except he doesn't walk and he doesn't hit as many home runs.
Except Schwarber's
If
a
you
better
look at his
fielder.
if you look at his StatCast page, yeah, there's a lot of red on it as far as like barrel rates and that kind of stuff. You know, he's an
Wisdom?
ex-Cardinal. He's an ex-Cardinal too.
Yeah, I know. He's a 4A player, to be honest with you.
So what's the Cubs' strength of schedule going forward? I don't know.
Well, they're playing pretty much everybody in the division. I mean, they're going against Cincinnati for the next 4 days. So this, you know, if they could come back in this game and sweep the rest of the series, they're going to be like a half game out of first, depending on what Milwaukee does.
So they're peaking
So
at the right time, huh?
I'm hoping, but you know, I didn't expect them to do shit this year in the first place. So, I mean,
Well, their pitching has been surprising.
they're doing better than I thought they'd be.
Right. Well, when you got Stroman and Steele doing what they're doing, it would have been hard to anticipate that.
Oh,
That's why it would have made a world of difference if Tyone could have had a, you know, good healthy year, and just even with an ERA of 4.0, you know, that would have really helped. I don't know if he's got to be doing better than he was in the beginning of the year, right? Because his ERA was sky high, and he was hurt for a little bit too, right? I think he went on the IL. But well,
we like the Cubs. We like the Cubs closer too, huh?
Alzolay.
I do.
Yeah.
Somebody was trying to trade me for him. Who was that?
Yeah, you wouldn't. I think it was. Didn't I? Who did I offer for him?
Alexis Diaz.
Yeah, Alexis Diaz for Alzolay. You wouldn't do it.
No. He's a $1 retainable for next year, and if he stays a Cubs closer, I think he's got.
Yeah, that's why I wanted him.
Yeah. Hey, I gave you Carlos Estevez, who was $1.
Yeah.
You know, so can't have them both.
You know, it's funny with Satch being so far out in front. There's actually, I don't think there's really anyone in the league that is going to sacrifice next year for this year, right? It just doesn't make much sense because Satch is too far out in front, so he could even think about next year now.
Yeah,
you know he is.
And then I'm
that's
I'm
why
not
he's
going
trading me like Devers and shit. You know, I mean,
I'm not going
that's
to
$81 to him.
I'm not going to catch him, and my fear of finishing as low as 5th is, you know, I don't fear that much. You know, I mean, like compared to like
how many? What was there? 5 weeks or 6 weeks left?
More than that.
There's
like 8.
Okay.
Yeah, there's.
Oh, you know what?
We go now, right?
We go to the end of the season. That's
9 weeks. There might even be 9 weeks left, right?
All right, we go to the end of the season. I was confusing it with some leagues that have playoffs.
Hold on, I'll tell you exactly how many weeks are left.
I think there's.
I got my beer league
well,
score
how many
sheet.
games in the standings? How many games have we played? Yeah, according to this, there's 9 weeks left.
3,
all right.
This is right.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks left.
Yeah.
Awesome. I like it.
So, oh, are you seeing the standings now?
Not me.
I don't know what I
No,
did.
I'm seeing the relief pitching.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll just go through the guys that don't have any games started because there's a lot of starters in here. But Batista for the Cows is the top point getter. And then Diaz for the Gags. And Doval for Bizzotti. Devin Williams for Sombreros. These are all familiar names. Carlos Estevez for the Gags. Jordan Romano, who just went on the IL for Let's Play. Okay.
Yeah. Class A is kind of falling off. It's not that he's been doing bad. He's just not getting any opportunities.
Maybe you should go to Double A.
Emmanuel Class A.
Class A ball.
Oh.
Class. That's bad. I'm sorry.
I like it. I like it.
So you were asking about Rookie of the Year, and I just wanted to. This is just based on WAR. I don't, I think as a one number, it's just the best way to go. And unfortunately, I can't see the right part of this screen. But let me see. If I get rid of you guys, okay, now I can see it. So you can see Corbin Carroll's at 4.2, and Matt McLean is runner up at 2.8 WAR, and then Francisco Alvarez 2.4.
So is this showing right now? Luke Raley would be like ahead of everybody.
Yeah, look at it. Luke Raley has the highest WAR in the American League, but Josh Young is right there, and then Gunnar Henderson, who came up later than all these guys, right? He's rising up.
Is Luke Raley any relation to Brooks Raley? They brothers? The pitcher, Brooks Raley?
I don't know that. And then,
Let's do some digging. Oh, shitty.
Look at pitching. These are the rookie pitchers. So Hunter Brown for Houston.
Yeah, that's a good
And,
pickup.
Kodai Senga for the Mets, who's been pitching better too. His ERA's down like 3.1 something now. And then Bibby or Bibby, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Bibby.
Yeah, I think it's Bibby.
No relation.
And then the reliever for Baltimore, Cano. And Andrew Abbott, starter for the Reds. These guys are all up there. Logan Allen, Bobby Miller for the Dodgers. So, anyways, did that stop? Right. Okay, good. And that's it. I don't think I have any more things to show.
All right, my dog wants to go out. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Talks amongst yourselves. Need more ice for my cocktail.
Well, right on. Let's see here. What do you think? What else do I look at?
Most years, you have like a few teams battling for first, and I don't think it's so much like the money aspect of it. I think it's just like that at least that's the way I felt. I just wanted to win the league, and it had been so long when I won it the second time. It had been so long since the first time. That was really the important thing. So I think, if you have teams that are 3, 4, 5 back of Satch, then you're going to sacrifice next year to go for it this year. Although in this case, I'm not sure that it would be money well spent anyway. I looked at something that Satch does. Like something I try to do is I maximize the plate appearances per game. Even like if a guy's not starting, I'm gonna hopefully I notice and get him on the bench because you don't want that situation where he comes up as a pinch hitter, has one at bat, no points, and it counts as a full game.
There's an outlier for that. Go to Jock Peterson. This is interesting. I just picked him up, so I had to look it up. If you go, can you show me his notebook page?
Let me see.
Like his last 10, 15 at bats.
But just to finish my thought on that,
okay.
I looked at Satch, and Satch has more plate appearances than I do, and that's okay. I look at I'll see. I think Bizzotti has more plate appearances. Then I looked at their games. I think Bizzotti has more games than I do, and so I'm somewhat okay with that. Although Bizzotti, I think I would have to have like 4 plate appearances a game to be like the same as him, which is that's about what you're going to get probably. But Satch actually has I think he has 26 fewer games than I do, and he has more plate appearances. So
leadoff hitters for teams that go through the line that's cycle through the lineup.
That's really impressive because that's definitely something I I concentrate on, and and I'm doing fine, but he's doing better. Like he has more
Yeah.
plate appearances and fewer games. So like that's what I mean. Like if I was 3 games behind Sash, maybe it would be worse for me because maybe I wouldn't catch him anyway. And
Right.
now that I'm 14 back, I mean I'm still trying. I'm going to see what happens, but I'm not going to make some deal that will hurt me for next year because I just don't see it as a realistic opportunity.
Right. Sure. Um, he did on the Spencer Strider, which was the linchpin to his pitching staff. So he loses a little steam there. What I'm guessing, I mean, is Spencer Strider, is there going to be a limit on his innings pitched this year?
I don't
And then
know.
are they going to rest him for the playoffs? I don't know.
They wouldn't want to screw him up too much, but yeah, maybe he won't go as deep, or maybe they'll give him maybe they'll skip one start. I'm just guessing. I haven't heard anything.
Right. Oh, but I just want to say about players that
Right, you seen that? Here's Jack.
okay, let's see. I can't quite see it. Let me see if I can. Yeah, he had his little notebook thing.
Okay.
Okay, so he sits against lefties, right? Right.
Is he
Well,
platoon?
yes, he's a platoon player. He's strong side. He sits against lefties. But on the games, if you look at the red dots, the games he was sitting, it's nuts. He's been doing this all year. He might only get one at bat, but they put him in high leverage situation, and he's scoring 5. He's getting one at bat, 5 the games. So you can almost play him on the days when he's on the bench because he's the first guy off the bench against a righty, especially in a high leverage situation. And the guy's hitting home. He's getting more points when he's coming off the bench than when he starts. Is that wild?
Yeah, I mean they're gonna if he gets that at bat, obviously it's gonna be with the handedness advantage.
Sure.
It makes sense, but I still think you don't want to do that unless you're getting to the point where I'm getting, where I might finish under and at some outfield positions.
No, it's not the greatest strategy in the world. I'm
So
just saying,
in that case, I'd leave him in. I do leave my catchers in because I've never had a situation where I've ever finished over a catcher, so I don't stream.
right.
And so if a guy's not playing, I do leave him in. And if he only gets the at bat, so be it. Because I think I'm going to end up under at catcher.
100%.
Outfield, I'm still thinking that I can get over, but I'm like 2 under in all the positions, and maybe I won't finish over. So
Right. No, I agree with you. Like for instance, not to the same degree as Jack Peterson, but Cal Raleigh. That thing happened. I remember trying to see him, like thinking, well, he's not starting, so I'll sit him. So I save the game. I can put a player in, and then he'll hit a home run coming off the bench. And after that happens enough, I'm just leaving him. Fuck it. So, yeah, I like to, and I'm changing my strategy a little bit just because my pitching I haven't been able to work the pitching magic as well as I would have liked to. My strategy before was to keep a minimal bench, right, and have a big pitching roster where I can take with good pitchers where I can put them in winning situations. I'm too many games back now. I'm not necessarily in the league standings, but in getting up to maxing out the games for each position, that I'm going to build up a bench and be able to play guys every day. You may have that position filled every day, and that's so I'm making a turn there.
Here's what I was talking about when Jeff was gone. So here's plate appearances. So I pride myself on having a high amount of plate appearances, right? And these guys that are higher than I am, Bizzotti has more, but he also has more games, right? 35 more games.
And I love this page because it's real time too, but go ahead.
So I can live with that. And then who else is ahead of me?
Well, you can sort.
Spears ahead of me, but he's got 41 more games, right? But here's the one that I noticed I think it was just today I noticed it, that Satch has more plate appearances than I do, and he's got 20 whatever, 20 what is that, 29, 20, 27 less games than I do.
Yeah.
So that's when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's
Look at the RBI difference between the two of you and the home run difference. He's got
yeah.
like over 200 more RBIs and like almost 100 more, like 83 more home runs.
Well, I think what John was saying was like that this could be due to that Satch has he has a lot of guys that hit leadoff, but look at these aren't all leadoff numbers here. 290 homers. That's the most in the
Well,
league.
I know. So let's do let's break the code here. How
Look
does
at his
he
holds though. His holds, he's got 50 holds, which is the most of anybody in the league by 7.
right? But he doesn't concentrate on saves.
No.
So and you can sort it too by hitting on the top of it too.
Yeah.
Like on the actual thing. The Lou, so how do we explain that he has less games and more plate appearances? How do you square that?
Well, I mean, the only time that I leave a guy in, if he's not starting, is just a mistake. I didn't see it in time or whatever.
Right.
Except at catcher. So
And then you get that one
I
at
should-
bat that he might get a point with, and he might
yeah, I'm
not.
not doing that. I'm not playing that. So this number to me is pretty optimized, right? I mean, there's a few errors in there. I leave guys in. I didn't check it in time. But
Which one? What are you looking at?
well, I'm just looking at my plate appearances in my games.
Okay, can you sort the whole league by plate appearances from the top?
Yeah. So Spears got the most, and but he's got the most games too. So you can see Satch for his games, he's got less games than anybody down all the way to Sombreros. So these teams have fewer plate appearances and more games than Satch, and I'm one.
Well, I've got 3 more games than you and 50 less plate appearances, so I'm in deeper shit than you are.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. I'm not saying like oh the gag, woe was the gag. I'm just saying like this is one thing that Satch is doing very well. That's all.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So how do you square that if it's not leadoff hitters? Then is it just bet teams that are turning through their lineup because they're better teams?
I think a lot of it is leaving guys in that are just an X, and you just leave them in anyway because you have nobody to replace them with, and then they get in the game and get like 1 at bat.
Yeah, but that's not what Satch is doing.
I don't know if that explains.
That's the opposite of what Satch is doing.
Yeah, that would mean you'd be churning up games and not getting the same amount of playing appearances.
Well, he's streaming guys,
You would not be
and he's
maximum-
making sure that his lineup's filled.
Right, but I'm doing that too without I'm not streaming, but I'm doing that too. Like I said, the only time I have a non-catcher in my starting lineup that isn't starting that game is just by error. Like I didn't check it in time or whatever it is. It's not
Right.
intention. But anyways, I just noticed that today, and I was like, maybe it's good that I'm not 3 games back, because maybe I wouldn't catch him anyway. So I'd be trading like auction bucks for next year to, hey, maybe I can come in first, and I wouldn't anyway. So maybe it's better.
Well, there is actually a correlation there too. And this is how I've been like, if you do, I have the less, well, I don't have the less innings pitch, but I'm second to last innings pitch, but I think I'm either 1 or 2 on wins. And that's because I'm picking and choosing my matches. I'm trying to maximize my innings by only putting my position, my starters in winning situations. But I don't know how you get more plate appearances with less games unless they're all leadoff hitters. How do you do that?
I mean, I can see what you're saying. If you were open to leaving like somebody like Peterson in, even if he wasn't starting, because he can still hit.
No, that's an outlier. That's no strategy off.
Yeah,
He's just weird that on the days he had off in the last 14, he scored more points on the days he didn't start. than the days he did. He came off the bench and hit home runs 2 times in a row.
But your situation with pitching is good because you're not under, and you're less over than everybody else, so that's going to be to your advantage. But the bad thing that you could really improve on is because your rates are what, second or third in the league we looked at, but you have so many games under. Because what is the average? The average hitter is going to get like 3 a game, maybe marginal level will be slightly less than 3 a game. And so if you're what was it, 57 under or something like that? So that's 150 points. That's 5 wins right there. That's probably
I can make that up. I can make. I'm not carrying as many pitchers. I'm going to cycle in hitters on when my guys are being set.
But that's what I'm saying. Like you are actually in a probably a better position than most teams to move up because you don't have an overage, IP overage to contend with, and you could improve a lot in the games. So I'm just going to okay. You're 57 games under, and then I have as the marginal level of hitters that would be available for you to get up to. You could be 2.8 points per game. So that's 2.8 times 57. Do I want to do this?
Carry the one.
But that would mean 2.8 is just that's just the way I do it. It's the hitting points per game of the team that has the lowest hitting points per game in the league. That's just like a measure of like maybe those guys would be like marginal talent. I wouldn't just want to prorate your whole team because it wouldn't be realistic, right? You're not going to get those extra games aren't going to be your studs. That's going to be like marginal level. But anyways, so that's an extra 159 points through this point of the season that if you were at 0 that you would have, and then what is it, 28 points on average is an extra win for us, an extra win in our standings. So that'd be an extra 5.6 wins. So an extra 5 or 6 wins in the standings is what you have in a perfect world if you had if your games played was at 0. So that means instead of 53-49, you'd be at 58-43. That's where B.E.E.R is. You'd be 16 back. And then if you want to throw in your Buddha bad luck of 2 wins, then you'd have an extra couple. So you'd be at 60-41, which is where the Gaggers are in that second place. So, anyways.
I think you can optimize the waiver wire too. I don't think it's just marginal plays you got left. I mean, I picked up 2 guys off the bench. I picked up 2 guys off the waiver wire yesterday that hit home runs today.
Right. I mean, 2.8 is just an estimate. It just made the most sense in a quick way that I could do it. It's saying that the team that has the worst hitting point rate is what I'm going to say, like your marginal talent is going to when you make up those games, you're going to be picked. You're not going to be able to double down on whoever your top hitters are. It would be guys off the waiver wire. It's just not an exact.
No, I hear you.
Just as an estimate.
But there's the thing that everybody for us who are kind of bunched together. I'm on the lower end of it. There's still time. There's still time, man. Get a couple good pitching performances in a row. A couple of my starters, get that 28 to 32 points. You win a couple, get a couple 5-0s. I don't know. I think there's room for movement up and down.
Yeah, well, definitely you can finish as high as second. That's definitely true. I mean, you're just in much better spot than some people that are close to you in the standings. So Sombreros is similar. I don't know what their IP overage is. They might have more of one than you do, but their games played is under also. Yeah.
Hey, you guys want to do something we did back at the draft after the draft was over, and play a quick one of like 20 questions on a baseball player?
Sure.
Let's do it.
I've got one.
Joe Charbonneau.
Yeah, that fucked you up. I was gonna ask you who that fucking player was that I fucking guessed so fast. And now that you mentioned it, yeah, it was Joe Charbonneau. You gave it away as
Joe
rookie of the year,
Charbonneau.
and then, like, I don't know. We figured it out pretty quick, but I guess when you grow up with studying the backs of baseball cards, it might come a little easier. Anywho, all right. What's the first question?
Oh,
Who's asking?
you've got the player?
I've got the player. He's all queued
Okay.
up and everything.
So you go first. You got honors, Lou.
All right, I'll do a real question.
Hey, so do we? One real quick. Do we buzz in?
No, just just alternate questions. You each get 10 questions. See if you can guess this guy.
All right. Just shout it out if you think if you have an answer.
Yeah, exactly. If you think you know who it is,
Rocky Colavito.
shout a guy out. I'm not going to count that as a fucking guess, or it's not going to be counted as a question.
ABBA.
That's a Swedish band.
John Candy was on this SCTV skit where the host was getting annoyed at him because before he could even ask a question, he just kept doing the buzzer and going, ABBA? He's like, no, let me finish the question.
Man, I wish that guy was still alive.
All righty. Boy, he's been gone a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like 30
Family
years
Feud
ago,
on
right?
Saturday Night Live is hilarious.
Are you guys going to start asking questions or what?
Yeah. Well, is he a hitter or a pitcher?
He's a hitter.
Okay,
That's
go ahead,
one.
John.
Is he in the league now? Of
No.
course not.
Primarily AL or NL?
Well, that's a good question. Hold on one second. Primarily AL.
So that means
Was
that he
he
also
ever
played in the NL then.
okay? Is
He
he in the
has
Hall?
played in the NL.
Is he in the Hall of Fame?
No. Good player nonetheless.
Was he an infielder?
Yes. That's 5.
And you said primarily. I'm sorry. You said primarily
AL.
AL or
AL.
AL infielder.
was he right side or left side of the infield?
Both.
Ah, fuck.
Right side of the infield later in his career.
How many questions is that? 6?
6.
So we should just go to 10, right? We shouldn't guess.
No, you get 20 questions. Like I said, 10 for each of you. You just got to keep bouncing back and forth. So I think, Lou, it's your turn.
All right, so
We don't have a whole lot. We know as an infielder for the AL. Isn't playing right now. That's all we got.
how many
You can
divisions
ask time frames. You can ask like when he was playing.
how
or,
many divisions were there when he was in the American League when he was playing?
I think it switched while he was playing.
Switched from what to what?
Well, there was 2, and then it went to 3, right?
Okay. Well, there used to be 1, so
No.
2 to 3 during his time playing AL.
I mean, what year did they switch to the 3?
What?
What year did they switch to the 3?
80s, 90s. When was that?
Yeah.
90s,
So
right?
he was. Yeah, both.
So we got an 80s, 90s AL infielder who switched from the left to the right side.
Did he hit for average or did he hit for power?
A little bit of both, depending on what year. That's 8.
Did he play a lot of consecutive games?
I don't know. I can't. I'm not gonna. That one I can't answer, so I'm not gonna charge you for that. Come up with another question.
Was he in the East, Central, or the West when they switched to 3 divisions?
Central.
Okay. Central infielder.
Most of his career was in the Central.
Did he play in Cincinnati?
No.
No, this is AL, right?
Well, he played for both leagues, but he never played for Cincinnati. So that's 10 right there. Okay, we're halfway home.
Oh, okay. I thought we were done.
No, it's a 20 questions. You each
Okay.
get 10
All
questions
right.
to
Okay.
ask.
Okay, good. Hmm. I'm just gonna have to go to like teams, I guess.
Yeah, let's go team. Yeah.
Narrow it down.
Did he play for the White Sox?
No.
So did we? I thought he played primarily in the East, right?
No, Central, he said.
That's okay.
That-
10%. All right. Did he play? Did he play for Detroit?
No. That's 12.
Indians?
No. That's 13.
Royals.
What?
Royals.
He did play for the Royals for 3 years.
Hmm.
Even though it was not the team he came up with.
Who are we missing in the East?
Central.
Central.
I mean, I'm sorry, Central. My brain just froze. Who are we missing in the Central? What team do we need? What team are we missing? Minnesota?
Minnesota.
Came up with Minnesota. That's 15 right there.
God, I don't know Minnesota that well.
Came up in Minnesota. And that's the team that we think of him as being on.
That was his main team that everybody kind of knows him for, and then he bounced around a bit after that. Never staying longer than 3 years anywhere.
Well, he's not a Hall of Famer. So what? He's not Crew or
Well, he's 80s, 90s. He's 80s, 90s, right?
Yeah, you're right.
90s.
I'm gonna just say his first year in the league was 81. His last year in the league was 2000.
Wow. He played from 81 to 2000, came up with the Twins. He's an infielder, left side, moved to the right side later. Is that all we know? Long career.
He hit for decent average and power.
When he came up, what position was he when he came up?
Third base. 16. 4 more questions.
shoot. What nationality? What ethnicity?
I would say, well, he's white, but I was kind of like his name sounds Italian. At 17.
I'm gonna go Gaetti.
Yes!
Nice.
Finally. Here's a little tidbit about Gaetti. 2-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glove. He was the ALCS MVP, a Silver Slugger, and he was part of the winning World Series team in 1987. His nicknames was G-Man or the Rat.
I didn't know he played that long.
He had a 42.1 WAR throughout his career. He had 2,280 hits, 360 home runs, 255 career batting average. Career runs 1,130, career RBIs 1,341, had 96 stolen bases, an on-base percentage of 308. Not very good. Didn't take a walk, did you there, Rat? Slugging percentage of 434, OPS of 741, and an OPS plus of 97. He played for Minnesota all the way up until he was from 22 to 31. Then he went to the California Angels for
Right.
2.5 years. Got traded to KC in '93. Played with KC for the remainder of that year and 2 more years. Then he went to St. Louis for 2, and St. Louis traded him to the Cubs in '98. Either
Went
they
to the
traded him to
playoffs,
the Cubs or they released him and he joined the Cubs.
and they went to the playoffs that year, right?
Yeah,
98 they did,
'98.
yeah.
Yeah, he was part of that playoff run.
He had a
At
key.
the age
He
of
had some key
40 in
hit.
'99, he batted just 204 with a 260 on base percentage, 9 home runs, 46 RBIs in 113 games. And then played for Boston the next year, played only 5 games, 11 plate appearances, at bats 10, did not get a hit. Got 1 sacrifice, which is why he only had 10 at bats and 11 plate appearances, and struck out 3 times. And then he called it quits and says, I can't do this anymore. It's you guys now.
All right, I got one.
The people he
I
was
got one.
traded for, real quick. Let's see. He got, well, he was always a free agent, never got traded. So he basically got released by the Cardinals in '98, and the Cubs picked him up. And he was released by the California Angels, and the Kansas City Royals picked him up. But he's never been traded in his what is it, fucking 19-20 year career. Never got traded once. Just got released and picked back up by another team. Crazy.
When you said Twins, I was gonna guess Gaetti. Basically, that was like the only one I could think of.
I
But I didn't want to jump the gun, but then when you said 81 to 2000, I was like, God, I don't think he played that long.
Oh, he did, man. He played from 22 years old. He came up and played until he was 41 years old. Interesting fact here too, that he had a little bit of deferred payments coming to him at when he retired. His final year, he got 350,000 from the Boston Red Sox, but he got 170,000 from the Cubs that same year and 109,000 from the Royals. Deferred payments. So he made $26,749 in his career.
Nice.
Oh, good career. I mean, shit. I mean, that's a long fucking career. You don't see that too often anymore.
I like that deferred payment thing. I know the power of having money in hand, can compound interest.
Well, yeah, the whole Bobby Bonilla thing.
Bobby Bonilla.
If you have a certain amount coming to you, almost in perpetuity, it's kind of, that you're not going to end up sleeping on the street at some point. If you
well, fucking Ken Griffey Jr. did the same thing. The Reds are still paying Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah. Bonilla, I think, is till 2035 or something.
Yeah, he had $1 million a year for 40 million of his was it an $80 million contract back in those days? I think half of it was spaced out, 1 million a year for the last 30 or 40 years. It's crazy. Well, that's one way to say I'm not good with my money. I need a job for the rest of my life.
Yeah, no, I think it's a valid choice. Plus, that was only a certain portion of it. It wasn't like a giant portion of what he was getting.
Well, it also keeps him from getting had by some fucking crazy ass CPA who decides to bilk all your money out of you. It's just you kind of created security for yourself. You're making $1 million a year after you retire for 40 years or 30 years.
Nice.
Not a bad move. Not a bad move at all.
Usually you got to be a congressman for that kind of thing.
That's like taking the annuity from winning the lotto. Oh, anyway, Johnny, you said you had one.
You know what though? Here's the problem. I can't. I got one that could be fun, but the problem is I can't. I'd have to go dark to access his page to answer questions that I want. That I don't know offhand. Like I don't know the exact years he played and blah blah blah.
Right.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So it's up to you, Lou.
All right. Well, we'll just keep the questions, general. So primarily.
Oh, okay. You want to try it with me? All right.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, you'll get it.
You know, when we designed this game, we didn't have a computer in front of us either. You know, this was all done when we were at Chris's 50th birthday, and we all went out to spring training to go watch some games and stuff. We sat in the backyard and created this game on the spot.
So Jeff, why was Gaetti on your brain?
You know, it wasn't so much that I was looking for a player that you guys would know, and there was on the baseball reference page there was a picture of Greg Nettles, and I'm like, I think I did Greg Nettles before, so I clicked on him to see what his comparables were, and I saw Gaetti,
Wow,
and I'm like,
that's high
all right,
compliment to Gaetti. Yeah.
yeah.
All
So
right,
yeah,
go ahead,
Fire
Jeff. You
away,
start.
Lou. Shoot.
Me? All right. Hitter or pitcher?
Hitter.
You
okay.
know, we could have saw this right if he had said like he was active and he's both a hitter and pitcher. We'd be like, all right. No. So
All right.
you said he's a hitter?
Outfield, infielder, or catcher?
Catcher.
Okay.
Catcher. That's big. All right. Primarily, are we talking in the 1, 2, or is he not an active player?
Not active. So is
Did
that
he
count? So is that one guess? Is that each of you have one? So that's 3 total guesses? We go up to
Yeah,
20
that's
total?
true. I'm keeping track right here.
All right.
Yeah, boy, I'm keeping track.
What are you, German? What are you, German?
What decade did he play in?
I'm pretty sure it'd be the 20s.
Okay.
20s or 30s, but it's right around there. I might be. I see. That's the one thing I needed to look up. I'll give you some. Like.
That's all right. We'll figure it out.
All right.
Ooh, you're up.
You're talking
We're at
1920s,
4.
right?
Yeah.
The 1920s? Oh, fuck.
Yes.
Old chicken foot raying bone. Lou?
Mickey Cochran.
No. X.
Did he play for the National League or American League?
National League.
Okay. We're at 6. Lou?
Oh, can't think of the guy's name.
Well, we haven't narrowed it down enough yet there, dude.
National League catcher in the 20s? How many can you name? I mean,
Not the 20s, 1920s, and 2000s.
No.
No,
The 1920s?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We're in the 20s.
We usually keep it like 60s or 50s and above.
He played during the Yankees heyday, like during when Babe Ruth was playing. So what's that? Circa what? Is that pre-20s?
I'm gonna have a guess here after Lou picks or Lou asks.
Circa when he was in the league when Babe Ruth was in the league.
But he's NL, right?
Right.
God, I can't think of the guy's name I'm thinking of.
Try to find out, narrow down what team he's in or what division.
What, to help you out?
Yeah. We're playing as a team here, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Lou, it's you guys against the house. Come on now.
Yeah. They're punching holes in walls. Fuck you, house.
Did he play for Brooklyn?
No.
That's number 7. I'm gonna say Gabby Hartnett.
Yes, my man. Bingo.
No, I should have gone with the Chicago connection. Right?
I'm good at this game.
Look at this. Marcus Hartnett was a good friend of mine. He's also a fellow musician. He's played at Lemmings dozens of times at the open mic. And Gabby is his grandfather.
Here's the thing. One of the things that clued me off is that you're an insufferable Cubs fan and kind of Cubs historian. And if you're gonna go back to the 20s, I thought to myself, it's probably gonna be a Cubby.
Well, I didn't want to make it. I wasn't trying to be obscure. You know,
All right,
That was
I got a
good,
guy.
though. That was good.
Super
Joe
Joe Charbonneau
Charbonneau
is
was
a lot
way
more
more
fun.
obscure than
Hey,
that.
Jeff, Super Joe Charbonneau is a lot more fun than Gary Gaetti.
All right, I got a guy.
That was a harder one.
You ready?
Yeah.
Hey, he was an MVP too, and Gabby Hartnett was in the picture when Lou. I thought that was going to give it away. That when Babe Ruth called the shot, that's Gabby in the catching that game.
I should have been thinking the Cub angle. I was asleep at the switch there.
Well, it helped me that I know John a little bit.
If Larkin was,
Well, I know he
watching,
likes the Cubs. I mean,
screaming at you guys. Yeah.
all right, go ahead.
You would have got it in guest 4.
All right. So you got a player?
Yep.
All right, John, you started off.
Position player or pitcher?
Position player.
Outfielder, infielder, catcher.
Infielder.
Okay.
National League or American League primarily?
National League.
What
Let's go through
decade?
the teams.
What decade did he play in?
He played primarily in the 70s.
Okay.
Most years in the 70s.
70s
National League
infielder,
East.
National League.
East, West, or
If it's the
Central?
70s, it's East or West.
Okay, fair.
East.
Okay, National League East infield.
Did he play for the Pirates?
He did play for the Pirates.
Left or right side of the field?
He played the left side of the infield.
Well, I guess this begs the question. This goes back to the outfield, infield, or catcher. Can I go, was he first, second, third, or shortstop?
Yeah.
Is that a valid question?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Well, you just asked it anyway.
You could just say
Left
what
side
position.
of the infield or right side of the infield. It's
What
either shortstop
position?
or third baseman. So I'm
Yeah.
going to say Bill Madlock.
No. So we
Woo!
should. Can we go like, what position did he play? Instead of going like left, is he a hitter or a pitcher, right? We should just do that, right?
I mean, typically when you do something like this, it should be yes, no answers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, one or two. I do want to say that he played for the Pirates, but that's not the only team he's played for.
Infielder.
Well, it's not Bill Madlock.
Most of his years were in the NL East.
Did we establish what position?
We have not.
Is he? Are these yes or no questions, or can I ask first, second, third, shortstop?
Well,
Jeff's
he
really
said
the
left
judge.
side of the infield already. So just ask him: is he a short?
Okay.
Is he a shortstop?
He's a shortstop.
Okay. Jesus Christ, I can't remember who played short. Dale Barra? No, he was later. He's like the 80s. Fuck. That's 10 questions and asked already.
Well, then we just need to name fucking Pittsburgh shortstops.
And I said that he played of any decade, he played the most years in the 70s. But it's not that he only played in the 70s. Just want to clarify that. You know, he's an NL East shortstop who most of his years were in the 70s.
I'm lost.
I am too.
Okay. He played for
What ethnicity?
just a white dude.
White dude. All right.
Oh, wait a minute. Is it Don Kissinger?
No.
His last name begin with T.
No.
It's 13.
He played for looks like 3 teams in the NL East. He played for 1 team in the American League, 2 teams in the American League, and 1 team in the NL West. But you would think of him as for his years in the NL East. At least that's what I do.
Fuck.
The majority of his career was in the NL East. Like, I don't know.
Lee Lacy?
No.
That's 14.
Yeah, you can take. I want to cede my guesses to you because I'm trying to go through the alphabet and get. I see some faces. I can't pull the names.
In his baseball reference, it says says that he also played second base, but I really do think of him as a shortstop. Also says third base,
Oh,
but shortstop's the primary position.
I think I know.
Do you know?
I may. I don't know. I think he was more of an outfielder, though.
No. No, he's definitely not an
I
outfielder.
know. No, he's second baseman.
Yeah.
No, don't concentrate. It's shortstop. You won't get it if you.
Yeah, but I remember him as a second baseman. That's what I'm saying.
The only level of hint I could give you, I think it would be too much. But
Well,
maybe not.
Was he a perennial all-star?
No.
Oh, come on.
that's yeah. Then he's like the obscure of the obscure here.
No, I didn't think he was that obscure, but I guess he's not. He wasn't a star player. He played for 16 seasons,
Fuck.
and he
This
had
is going to be
full,
one of those you're going to smack yourself in the head if you don't know it.
he had full play. He had over 6,500 at bats. Played
How many
appearances.
home runs did he have in his career?
Not many. 25.
Yeah, shortstops didn't fucking. Okay, so that's
White guy.
16. We got 4 questions left.
Some white guy.
So he played for 3 teams in the NL East, 1 team in the NL West, 2 teams in the AL. But NL East shortstop, 6,500 plate appearances, 25 homers. White dude.
Fuck.
Last name ends in the letter with the letter I. Just like
Oh,
Eddie. Just like Eddie. If I give you the teams, I think you'll get it. But we'll probably have to do that.
Napoli.
no.
Um,
I think that counts as a guess, though.
Well, he played, not surprisingly, played for the Mets and the Expos. He also played for the Pirates in the NL East, but I think on the Expos and the Mets.
Not Lee Mazzilli.
Mm-mm.
No, that's
Played from-
18.
He played from 1970 to 1985.
the cool.
Dude, I'm
Corpus
fucking
Christi. I don't know.
stumped. I am fucking stumped.
Last
Corpus Christi.
name has 4 letters, ending in I.
That doesn't fucking help shit.
Shortstop, Expos, and Mets. Played from 70.
Yeah, but he was nothing special. It's like he was never an all-star. He wasn't fucking shit.
I'm trying to see if I doubt. Yeah, he probably never.
Journeyman bullshit.
So it was too obscure.
No, I'm just frustrated. I can't figure it out. John, you got one more question here, and I got one more question. So
I'll see them to you, dude. I don't even know.
I don't even know what to ask either. I mean, it's so narrowed down already. It's just that you gave us so many clues too.
Roberto Zacuni.
He had 1,500 hits. So I mean, that's not that obscure, right?
Yeah,
You ready?
Do it.
yeah.
Shoot.
I'm gonna just say Dave Concepcion. All right, we're done. Go ahead, spit it.
4 letters, ends in I. The first letter is F.
Foley?
Yep.
Wait a minute. It's not F-O-L-I. It's
Yeah.
F-O-L-E-Y.
No.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
He's looking at it.
Yeah, he is.
Sorry.
That's a little too obscure, brother. You gotta
Right.
and make sure when you're looking at them that they have a couple of check marks up there, like maybe they were the ALCS MVP or they got a Golden
Okay.
Glove one year or an All-Star, they gotta have a badge by them.
Yeah, that was my first one.
There's thousands of
put the
guys
no-hitter
just like
on
the one that
acid.
you said about that nobody's ever gonna get.
You
So
gotta
the thing
put a
we want to
no-hitter
make
on
sure is that
acid or be a Cubs Hall of Famer. Come on now.
See, I would have gotten it though. If you had said shortstop for the Expos and Mets, I would have said like Foley, you know.
Okay, East Coast centric.
well, that's because he was on the Mets.
East
Right.
Coast elitist. We live here in the well, I guess Pittsburgh, but yeah,
Hey,
whatever.
don't call him an elitist. He's got chickens.
East Coast centric.
He's
Come
got
on,
the
you don't
gift that
know.
keeps on
You
giving.
don't know the Mets didn't give it away. The Expos didn't give it away.
So I don't know if you guys are going to care about this, but I just wanted to get this off my chest. So I have like a complaint about the whole breaking news thing. Yesterday, no, starting on Saturday and through Sunday afternoon, there was breaking news. And it was the same story. Like how long can you have breaking news and it's the same story? It was like 22 hours later. Is it a 24-hour
CNN
window?
doesn't come off. Yeah.
I think breaking news, you get an hour window on that, and afterwards it's been broke.
Because every time the break news thing, I looked up and I was like, it's the fucking Scherzer trade still. What the fuck, you know? Like, and then that would be off the screen, and then it would say breaking news again. And guess what? It was the same exact story. It was like, what the fuck? And then the other thing that pissed me off was that they had a breaking news: Cubs aren't going to trade Bellinger. Like these negative actions. Is that newsworthy? Like the Cubs aren't doing something that's I don't know.
All right, I got a quick question for you guys.
You know what? You know what really grinds my gears?
What?
Hey, Lou Jeff.
Yeah.
Handicap the trades that have been made, and who do you think's who are the winners, and who do you like?
Well, that's funny that you just tell me that, because basically I just brought up the MLB trade rumors saying, and I'm looking at this stuff, and the Diamondbacks just acquired Jace Peterson.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
And cash for minor leaguer Chad Patrick. This just came through at 9:43, so this is like 15 minutes ago. Arizona had an opening on the 40-man roster after dealing Josh Rojas and Dominic Canzone in this afternoon's Paul Sewald trade. So
the Diamondbacks still need starting pitchers, though. Like that's what they really need bad, right? I mean,
no, actually,
they have to get at least.
They need one, but they've got some pretty good arms there. You know what? Here's the thing: they don't want to lose any of the arms they have ready to come up pretty soon, in order to get a rental. You know.
So you see, the Mets traded Scherzer. They did get a good prospect for him, but the Mets are paying $35 million of the remaining salary for Scherzer, and Texas is paying $22 million next year. So they're getting Scherzer next year for 22, that's not a terrible price.
Well, it's a let's get this fucking guy out of here price. You notice when he started fucking talking smack about the front office and looked all pissed off, they're like, yeah, we got to deal this fucking guy. He's going to be a pain in our ass.
Actually, they say that those talks were already going on before Scherzer said that. And I don't even think what Scherzer said was so bad.
Yeah.
So I was looking at it like, it's kind of like the Mets went $35 million over slot for Acuna, right?
Yeah.
You know, like, they drafted this guy, and all it cost was $35 million over slot.
And then they got Ronald Acuna's little brother. The Mets and Astros continue to discuss Justin Verlander.
Oh, yeah.
So that is on the horizon.
So that
the
kind of
Astros
the
want him
Rangers,
back.
right? The
Was
Mets
he ever associated with
the Rangers Scherzer, and then they're going to give their competition Verlander. You know, kind of like negates the whole thing, right?
Yeah, it's like selling drugs to two different gangs and having them fight each other.
Well, if the Cubs aren't selling, who are they buying?
Well, they just got Heimer Candelario.
Yeah, but I mean, they need pitching, right? Starting.
Actually, the pitching's been pretty solid, man.
Starting
I
pitching.
mean, you know, if they do get a pitcher, who are they going to do? They're going to boot Cayenne out of the fucking the rotation. They're paying him to be a starter. You know.
Get Quintana again.
The Reds have acquired left-hander Sam Mole and international cap space from the Athletics. The A's will receive pitching prospect Joe Boyle in return. Joe Boyle. Here's Here's another one that just came through. Brewers acquire Mark Canha from the Mets.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's with pitching prospect Justin Jarvis going the other way.
Right.
Another one was Giants acquire AJ Pollock and Mark Matthias from the Mariners.
Yep, saw that one.
And going the other way, doesn't really say here.
It's a player to be named or cash. It's going
Yeah.
to be determined.
Okay. And then we heard about Seawald. Heimer Candelario went for a couple guys that I don't even fucking know. DJ Hers, which is a DJ Hers is sounds like a DJ at like a really like gothic fucking club or something. DJ Hers.
The
And
exit.
Kevin Mate. Wasn't Kevin Mate originally signed by the Angels?
You know, I'm not a big prospect guy, but the only one I'd heard of was the guy that the Mets got. All the other ones I haven't heard of. I might have heard of
a shortstop, third baseman, 20 years old. I thought Kevin Mate was signed by the Angels when he was like 16. Anyway. Savali to the Rays. Of course, you heard about that. The Rangers acquired Jordan Montgomery and Chris Stanton. Boy, the Rangers really boned up on the pitching.
Yeah.
The
7 guys, including Eovaldi and not including DeGrom. That's 7 starters they have.
Yeah.
Maybe-
well,
maybe
DeGrom's
they're-
out for a long time. He's got
Maybe
TJ.
they're really worried about Eovaldi.
Yeah. Angels, not only did they get Giolito and Ronaldo Lopez, who have been traded together the second time in their careers.
Oh yeah,
They've only each been traded twice, and both times have been traded with each other.
It's their third team that they've been on together. That's hilarious.
Isn't that crazy? So now they picked up Randall Grichuk and CJ Cron from the Rockies. So the Angels pick up 2 pitchers and 2 fielders to help their run. You got the Braves swapping Nicky Lopez for Taylor Hearn. Braves and the Royals. Blue Jays acquired Jordan Hicks.
Right.
And looks like the Cardinals have just said, fuck it. And then, the Cubs took Bellinger off the trade market, which I considerably like. I hope they, here's the thing. I hope the Cubs next year, instead of like making Bellinger a center fielder, you got Crow Armstrong in the waiting. He's playing pretty well. He's going to be your center fielder of the future. Why not just push Bellinger back to his original position at first base?
They could.
That's what he
Give
came
it up
up
on
as.
Mervis? You don't see Mervis in the lineup? Matt Mervis?
I think Mervis is Kevin Ory all over again.
All right. Fair.
Sorry. Kevin Ory had so much promise and it never produced.
How old is Mervis? Like, is he 25? He's older, isn't he?
He was a college player, so yeah, he's like 24.
What if Crow Armstrong ends up being the next Albert Almora Jr.,
That very well could happen as well.
He might hit like that.
But then they also have that Brennan, what's his name? No, what's his Brennan
Davis?
Brennan Davis, yeah.
Is he still a prospect?
Yeah, but he's been getting hurt. He's been like he's been hurt a couple of years in the minors, which kind of slowed his development, but he's still a prospect. I don't know. You got Kevin Alcantara, who's an outfielding prospect. You've got
he was on my NA squad last year, I think it was.
Canario is a shortstop prospect for the Cubs.
Alcantara's OBP is like I think it's less than 300 in the minors. I mean, you can't.
Actually, Canario's right.
That's not going to work.
No. Even Alcantara is supposedly ripping up the minors. I think where did we get him? It was in one of the trades of one of our big players in Chet.
I don't know.
He might have been. I don't know if he was part of that San Diego trade for Yu Darvish. Maybe. Yeah, I'm not for certain. It's been so long. Well, I tell you what, somebody was like online was posting a lot of the Cubs that you kind of forgot about. Just like since they did the trade off like in the last 4 years or whatever. It's just like guys they had come in and fill in and just like Frank Schwindel,
Oh yeah.
Taylor Davis, Tony Kemp, even though Tony Kemp's actually playing pretty well for the A's.
Leading off, yeah.
Yeah. Hamilton, just a bunch of these fucking guys, man. And I think, you know what? I think Talkman's going to be in that fucking conversation down the road. Yeah. He's having this little curse that, oh, Dwayne Wise, that's the guy who caught the fucking home run in center field for the perfect game Burley.
Okay.
That just came to my head.
Yeah.
Obscure old fucking Chicago players.
You know, I was thinking about the Cubs compared to the
It was right over the. Go ahead.
compared to the Angels' chances. And I think the Angels did the right thing if they think that they have a shot at retaining Otani, because if they didn't think they had a shot, or they didn't want him, they wouldn't have done the moves that they did. But for them to make the playoffs, it's just, if you look at the teams in front of them, that's the more important thing. It's like
Yeah.
a little bit more than like how far back you are. It's like for them to make the playoffs, that means that one of these teams, the Rays, the Orioles, the Blue Jays,
Rangers.
are going to have to be on the outside looking in. So like you have the Astros, Rangers, Blue Jays, Rays, and Orioles. If those are the 5 teams ahead of you, then you're the 16. That'll work. But no, they can't have those 5 because they have their no. Astros, Rangers, Central, and then those 3 teams in the AL East.
Like 6 from each division, right? Or 6 from each league.
Yeah. So they can't have one of these teams can't make it. The Central, that's a given. But Astros, Rangers, who of those teams is going to make it? Is going to miss the playoffs, and the Angels are going to make it. Astros, Rangers, Rays, Orioles, Blue Jays. That's the thing. It's like that's not looking so good. Whereas the Cubs' chances are just actually the Cubs even have a wild card chance, but all they have to do is win that division.
Yeah.
Right? And the Brewers had a negative run differential, whatever it was when I looked at it last, and the Cubs were like plus 50 or so. So I mean, I know you're saying like they might have had an inordinate amount of blowouts. I'm not, I don't know. Have they been blown out this year at all?
Well, to be honest with you, I think it's this last 8-game winning streak that actually added a lot to that run differential.
Yeah, it did.
They were blowing some motherfuckers out during that thing. I mean, they went 17-3, and then the very next game they put up a bunch of runs, and then they even like won 5-1 against somebody. Just like the last game of the St. Louis in St. Louis. But they've been just they haven't been getting blown out. They haven't been giving up a lot of runs, but they've actually just their last couple of weeks they've been hitting. I mean, that game that was 17-3, I'm watching that from the suite, and because they had to host that game, and it was just like fucking 3-3 up until the 6th inning, and then all of a sudden that 7th inning came in, they were up and down, and all of a sudden we got up, and it was just like put a 6-dogger on the board. Then the next inning we put an 8-dogger on the board. So it's like fuck, it's like you gotta wait. The game was like kind of moving slowly for not getting many runs in the first 6 innings, and then there was those 2 innings that took about an hour. And it was the same shit. Everything was a hit to right center or a hit to left center. And it was just a liner over the fucking fielder's head. It was perfect hitting. Boom, 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 boom. They just kept fucking peppering it. And it was fucking fun to watch, actually, but not really not too much power in that game. I think there was like 2 or 3 home runs at the most, but they were kind of like 2-run solo shots shit. But most of the runs came from them consecutively hitting the ball. Like this guy comes up, bam, he hits it, bam, 5, 6, 7 hits in a row. And it was weird. It was just weird to watch. It's like I have never been to a game where they scored that many runs, and I've never been to any game where 17 runs were scored. I think that the top I go was like 13 I saw, and that was against Pittsburgh. That was 13 or 14. And that was Nico Horner's first major league home run that game.
What is the Cubs rotation? They have Stroman, Steele, Taillon,
Hendricks.
And then they had
pitching
Smiley.
Well. I said he was done.
They had Smiley in there, but he's been kind of like fucking. So
So I guess if they were really going for it, maybe they'd add
another top line starter.
What?
Huh?
If they need another top line starter for sure.
Probably, yeah. If they were really going for it.
Or else they're going to try Wisniewski again, but he hasn't had a very good year. This is like one of the things that you guys asked me, like, oh, what's an MVP of your team? You know what wasn't the MVP of my team? All the people I poached this year. None of them are on my team anymore. I actually won Ryan McMahon. That's it. And I took
by the way, talking
Ryan
about
De La Cruz, Wisniewski, McCarthy, poached like fucking 7 guys off people this year. And there's like one person, Dre Jameson. There's like one person left on my team from that. They were all dogs.
Didn't the Cubs mount the greatest comeback in Cubs Sox history last week too?
Oh, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's funny is hearing fucking White Sox fans cry about that shit as it was happening. I mean, it just you can't help but I mean, it's worse as Mets fans right now. You can say what you want about the White Sox. The Mets got it so much worse because man, they paid a lot of money for a lot of those guys, and you would think that they would have a good fucking team, and it was just like I wouldn't say they're cursed. I just think they're just none of them are focused.
It's not cursed. It's not bad luck. It's just
No, they're just playing terrible.
it's just a bad idea. I mean, like for the money that they signed Scherzer and Verlander, they could have gotten Gaussman, Rodon maybe, and who knows if that's good. You know, they might have ended up with Robbie Ray, and that wouldn't have been good. But still, this past off season, they could have kept Taijuan Walker and Bassett.
Well, that's the problem you have when you've got a flashy owner that wants to fucking show off his new toys. He's like, I got the best pitcher here and the best pitcher there.
They could have kept Seth Lugo. He wanted to be a starter forever. It never happened for him. He goes to San Diego, and he's doing better than he's got a lower ERA than Scherzer, right? I mean,
Steven Matz has been pitching pretty good for St. Louis.
Is he? Yeah.
Beat us the last 2 times. I mean, the 2 games that we've lost in the last 10 games were against Steve Matz.
Yeah, well, they wanted him, and then it looked like it was good that they didn't get him. You know, he kind of spurned them, but
don't the Mets play? It's a pitcher's park, right?
It's getting more neutral than it was, but I'd say it's still slightly a pitcher's park, but not like it was. They've moved the fences in like 2 or 3 times now, including this past off season.
Oh, the Cubs made it close. They lost 6-5.
And that was Stroman?
Yeah. Let me see here.
Mr. Stroman? Sergeant Peterson, Chicago Police.
Yeah, Stroman only lasted 3 innings, gave up 6 runs. It's because of Stroman the Cubs lost.
That's not going to work. If he's going to have an ERA of 6 the rest of the year, that's just not going to work.
He doesn't want to get traded, so he's tanking right now. To make his value go down so they can't trade him. I wouldn't put it past him, to be honest with you.
There's still a day.
Yeah. All right, the 3 games remaining right now, San Diego, Colorado in the 3rd inning, 0-0. Boston, Seattle, 1-1 in the mid-7. Ooh, that's a good pitchers matchup there. You got Nick Pivetta, and who was pitching for the other team was Kirby. Kirby only won 5 innings with 1 run.
How badly did Bassett get hit tonight?
Yeah, what was the Orioles Blue Jays? I picked up Gibson and put him in. Because he's facing the Blue Jays. Those guys suck.
In Toronto too.
Bassett, he pitched 6 innings and gave up 4 earned runs.
That was all in the beginning. Yeah, that was early on.
Yeah, so he was a 6-point getter today. Yeah.
Now Gibson started off well. What did he end up doing?
Rushman went 0 for 5. Ooh.
What did Gibson do?
Gibson? Yeah, I dropped him. He went 6 innings, 1 run.
Woo!
Yeah, you picked him back up, didn't you? I just, you know what? I'm like, fuck.
Nice. And he got the win, right?
He did not pitch well for a while. Yeah, he had to have gotten a win.
You get on certain lucky tracks with guys. Like I've had Gibson in and he's done well, but I've been the opposite way too. Like I keep there's 2 guys, like I'll keep dropping for each other, and I put the guy in after his hot streak and he does shit for me, and then I drop him and put the other guy back in, and then and then he does So I've seen it works both ways. But Gibson, for some reason, I'm on the right. I don't know.
You're riding the wave.
If
Right?
you
You're
look at my
surfing
team, if you look at my
You're
team
surfing
log,
Gibson.
I'm going to look at my team log and see what Gibson's ERA is for me versus what it was overall. I mean, it's really funny.
Toronto.
Well, Seth
Toronto,
Lugo right now is pitching for the Padres.
Get, man. That's a tough get.
But it's all luck because I just put him in.
Hey, how about
I didn't pick and choose.
How about the Padres? How about the Padres game?
It's 0-0. And it's only in the third inning. So it's like Seth Lugo is going against Gomber right now. Bears.
Remember? What's the score?
2 outs in the top of the third.
Remember, what's the score? 0-0. Who's winning? The Bears.
How about the Atlanta game? What happened there?
Atlanta. I don't think they play today, did they?
Yeah. I think
They're always playing.
Yeah, they play Los Angeles. Okay, they lost 4-1.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Woohoo! Mets still got a chance. Mets still got a shot.
Reynaldo Lopez, 1.2 innings pitch. Wait, let's see how the scoring went. Basically, they used their two new shiny toys. They actually no, that was Silseth was the one that actually started this game, and he went 5 innings with 1 run.
Silseth for the Angels.
Silseth, yep.
Shut down.
Even after trading for Giolito, they still have Silseth. I don't know. Maybe.
And you won't like to hear this. Reynaldo Lopez has got the save.
Ooh.
Oh, is that going to dumb down your estimates?
That's going to piss me off.
Yeah.
How about the Milwaukee game?
Right, they lost 5-3.
Jesus Christ.
Well, at least they lost 2. I mean, we can still. Yelich went 3 for 5. William Contreras went 2 for 4. And Adames went 2 for 4.
Woohoo!
Monasterio, which is loud rock music in a in a church.
It's a what's the word for incongruous
This guy's name is Andrew Monasterio.
Monasterio. That doesn't make sense.
It's Monasterio.
Exactly. That's a conundrum. Monasterio.
What's the word? For the
He's from Venezuela, so I'm sure that comes from Italy. Monasterio.
Yeah, but that's a contradiction in terms.
It's M-O-N-A, not M-O-N-O. It is a contradiction in terms. It's just a great name, though. Monasterio.
It's like the Chevy Nova. Wasn't a big seller in Mexico.
Nope.
It doesn't go. Oh, and I won't get that one.
Yeah. I'll stick my dog on you. What else? Let's see here.
When Seawald, when I started to get wind that Seawald might get traded, I assumed he would get traded to a good team and slot in as their setup guy, But he gets traded to a team that doesn't have a closer. He's going to be the closer. Damn it.
Yeah, but Jordan Hicks is going to be closing for Toronto, at least for the time being.
But he's just my SPRP, like I need.
That's perfect. That's ideal.
No. But I'm saying my RPs, I want them to be closers,
Well, you can find. Well, let me put it this way: there's more RPs that are closers that you can find down the line than SPs that are closers. SP closers way more valuable than an RP closer.
I'm just saying my bar is lower. When he's an SPRP, he can be a setup guy, and that's fine too.
Shut up. Sorry, not you.
I'd love to have Jordan Hicks.
I'll trade him to you.
Okay, let's do it.
Oh, are we talking trades right now?
Yeah.
What do you want? What do you need?
Who's
Doesn't
your best
matter. You're just
player
going
in
to
your
give him
team?
some shit.
Best Corbin. You want Corbin Burns for Jordan? It's fucked up. It's fucked up because Corbin Burns, I swear to God, they have those pages that are auto starts, and it's all trash because Corbin Burns is the #2 auto start. He lost today, man. And then you sit him against Atlanta and he wins. It's such a mind fuck.
Well, you should have traded him. You would have had Nathaniel Lowe, and you didn't have to worry about it. He tried to give me 3 guys that were like ranked around 300 or
it was
400.
Jake Day you were talking about, huh?
No,
And
no,
I'm
no,
like,
no.
well, you could take 1 turd and give it to me, but why do you gotta fucking pile up 3 of them?
Jeff. First of all, Jeff, I was under the assumption you were in a seller's market. Like you weren't. I figured if you were looking towards next year, Beebe's a good player. Allen's a good player. Kenta Mayada's a good player, all for $1.
I never play for just next year. I'm playing to the end of the year.
Okay, that's fine. But if I were you, I would play more towards next year. Same. I was just trying to get in your head. I'm like, well, maybe I'll give him $3 pitchers that are going to be that. Those Cleveland Young pitchers are really good, dude. And
Dude, when it comes down to
it,
you can't predict shit because I tell you what, 1 year they're great. They look like a fucking $1,000,000. Then you get your hands on them, and then they turn to shit.
Well,
that's Dre Jameson. That was the other kid that I had from Arizona. That was Wesneski. I mean, I don't really fucking take a pitcher seriously until he's about 3 years in the league, unless he's something fucking special. Because there's a lot of growing pains, and plus, not to mention, a lot of these young guys, they're in the league 2 years and they're going to get TJ because that's about time. You know, they got burned out by the college fucking coaches, got burned out by the fucking high school coaches, you know, and their arm is fucking trash. They've been throwing fucking curveballs since they were 13 fucking years old. And that's all, you know, it's just, yeah, you look at it, it's an epidemic.
There's a lot to that, but I mean, look at it's hitters aren't immune. Like, I mean, like who's gone down? Aaron Judge has gone down. Corey Seager.
I think the more that you see like them using like computers and shit to help like these players fucking get the right form, the more injuries you're seeing because their body just doesn't move that way. You know, everybody's a little different. You know, not everybody can throw overhand or throw the perfect fucking throw because they haven't been throwing that way their whole fucking life. And when they try to change these guys, I think is when you start to see the Tommy John injuries and fucking all the other injuries that go along to it. If the guy was a good player when you found him, let him fucking be a good player and make plays. Don't try to turn him into a fucking, we can build him faster, we can build him stronger. You know, we can make him like Drago from fucking Rocky IV.
Well, that'd be an interesting research question. Like, for instance, compare like the driveline pitchers versus high school pitchers versus college pitchers. If there's any kind of numbers that line up that suggest who would be more valuable. Are driveline pitchers, the people who go through driveline, are they less susceptible to TJ or college players or high school players? There might be some direct correlation.
Yeah.
And
I bet you a lot of these teams have that information already.
And factor into that also foreign-born players that play 347 days, 345 days a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, your Dominican players, and then your Cuban players, and Puerto Rican players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they might be less, susceptible because they're playing. That's all they do.
Yeah, even in Florida and California.
Right.
You know, never any time off. So it's just like, you know, they're developing, but it's like you're burning out, you know? Yeah. These day and age.
You think of it, even if a team has the right thing in place with their medical staff and they're doing things right, if you trade for a player, you know, you don't have control of what he's already done. Even going back to high school, you know, damage could be, you know, already done.
But
I'm sure that they look at images, but who knows? I don't know. You know,
there are organizations that clearly know how to trade and draft better than other organizations.
Absolutely.
And so there
more
are
importantly developed.
There are clearly tells, and they're not opening the book to the other teams on how they're doing it.
2 teams that are really developing players well are the Dodgers and fucking Tampa Bay Rays, and for that matter, Atlanta too.
Atlanta, Jeff, Cleveland, and the pitchers. You know,
would you put the Mets and the Pirates in that group too, or no?
No.
No. The Angels, perhaps.
Eh. No, they got lucky with Trout. They haven't really developed much on their own. They try to buy players that aren't very good.
Hey, I'm seeing that the Mets traded Verlander and $50 million for the Astros 93rd rated prospect. So
That
I
makes
think that
sense.
sounds like a good deal for the Mets.
Wow.
No,
Well,
I'm just kidding. But that's
what
why
it do? It
I'm
saved them
fearful I'm going to
$30
see.
million next year.
So the Mets are paying 50 million of his remaining salary, which is around 62.
Are you serious? You're
Well,
not
it's a third of
serious.
this year, right? A third of this year, and then 43 next year. So yeah, it's be like 57. So yeah, the Mets are going to pay 50. The Astros are going to pay 7, and then but the Mets are getting the Astros 93rd rated prospect in return. So so I think it's
Phillies and Blue Jays and Giants have shown interest in Teoscar Hernandez. One of my favorite names, Teoscar.
Okay, I got a question. So,
$41 for the game.
I got a question. What player comes to town? Um, you prioritizing buying a ticket to see play
No one.
outside of Otani. If Otani's coming to Chicago, I want to go watch him play. Is there a player in the league that would pull you to the ballpark?
I guess this is like where I'm like weird because I don't get so excited about individual players like that, like Otani.
Oh,
I mean,
come on!
Juan Soto.
This is a generational
I guess
player.
yeah, I should, but I just don't. I'm not. That's not what I'm into.
If
I
he's
guess I'm
pitching,
not.
if he's pitching and hitting hitting number 2 as DH, you have to go.
Juan Soto.
Okay.
But
He's
here's the
fun to
thing, though. Juan Soto, I think next year is his last year of control, and he becomes a free agent after that. So here's my question: in the offseason, does San Diego put together a trade and get package players back for him and trade him off this offseason? Because they're probably not going to be able to pay him. They're paying a lot of other people. And they've got so much money invested in Machado. They got Tatis, and it was because he was so cheap and they get him for a couple years is why they really made the trade for him to put themselves over the top. But as you can see, they are not nearly over the top with him. So
I have no idea what their budget I don't know how
do
deep their
you
pockets are.
think the
But you
Cubs,
think
or
they
do you think San
prioritize
Diego?
Otani?
Here's my thing. You can't have 3 guys that are making 30 over 30, 35, 40 million a year.
You can if you're the Mets.
Well, you saw how that worked out too. So I think they backtrack a little bit in San Diego, and I think A,
Yankees,
you're
the
going to see
Dodgers.
Machado go, or B, they're going to put together a fucking Tatis trade, or C, Tatis is going to be the hard one to trade, just because of steroid shit and some other immature shit he's done, and plus he's a lot of money.
I
And
don't know.
even though he's the youngest one out of all of them, I think
Well,
him and
I'm seeing the
Minnesota
Mets
might be
traded
around the same age.
the Mets traded Brett Beatty to the Angels for for fuck, I can't think of his name. The third baseman. Rendon. Yeah.
That makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
Wait, Brett Beatty from the Pirates in the 70s?
No, the one
baseman
from
for the Mets.
Well, I'm teasing. What was the pirate? The 4-letter pirate that
Foley.
ended in
Foley.
Foley.
They traded for Foley.
I like.
Yeah, he's
Tim
back
Foley.
out of retirement, man. He's still got the. He's playing DH right now.
Well, don't the Padres have a lot of righties? What other big lefties do they have?
Well, that's a good question. Let me bring him up on some of his baseball referral.
I don't know if they want to trade Soto. I'm sure they wouldn't mind trading somebody.
I think one of those 3 guys gets traded this offseason.
They'd probably trade Bogarts if they had the chance. They don't need him.
All right, so their left-handed bats are Cronenworth, Soto, Grisham, and Matt Carpenter. They got Ronald Odor, Alfonso Rivas, Brett Sullivan, Tanner Cowlway is on
I
the
didn't know
40
Matt
days.
Carpenter was on San Diego. Is he getting much playing time?
He's played in
Doubt it.
66 games, got 4 home runs. He's batting 166. No.
Yeah, it's too bad. He had a little surge last year, didn't he?
Wah, wah.
So
And then
how?
Grisham, here's the thing. Austin Nola, he's not even up right now. I think he got sent down or something. He was batting 146.
He was briefly a gagger.
Cronenworth batting 216.
Woohoo!
Seung Kim batting 279. Xander
Yeah,
Bogaerts is another one they just paid deeply for. So they can't have they can't have 4 of them. Let's put it that way. 265. Manny Machado, 260. So there's 2 guys that are 30 years old. They're already paying a fuck ton to. You got Juan Soto who's batting 268. Trent Grisham who's batting 207. Then you got Fernando Tatis Jr. who's also 24. So Juan Soto and Tatis Jr. are both the same age, and he's only played in 86 games, and he's got 18 home runs. He's having a great year, actually. 275. So Tatis has come back with a vengeance. I have to say, man, I think it's either Manny Machado or Juan Soto got dealt on in the offseason.
I think that would be a mistake. I think getting rid of Soto
Pay
is a
them all.
mistake. I think that's
You
a
can't
big
pay them all, and
mistake.
you want to. Here's the thing, though. You got to trade. You can't trade Soto as a rental. You are going to get a fucking king's ransom for that guy if you trade him while he's got 1 year for you to negotiate with him.
I still think the Padres could do it this year. And you just make the playoffs. I
Dude,
mean,
no way. They're under 500. They're way out of it.
how many games back are they in the wild card?
Hold on a second here.
Because there's teams that are going to fall. The Giants are ahead of them. They're not going to stay up there. Even the Diamondbacks.
All right.
Even
so
the Reds.
You got 59-45 Los Angeles Dodgers. Next one is 2 games out San Francisco, 58-48. Then you got Arizona who's 56-50. And you got San Diego who's 8 games out right now.
8 games out of the division.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them finishing.
And their run differential's plus 63.
I could see them finishing ahead of the Diamondbacks and the Giants. I don't think the Padres are done yet.
Let's
I
put
think
this
they have
way:
a better
the
shot than
Padres
the
have been
Angels.
worse than the Cubs this year.
What?
The Padres have been worse than the Cubs this year, and they're only 2 games better than the Mets.
I think that their run differential is much better than the teams around them. I think the Padres' run differential is decent. I think it might be positive, actually.
Oh, it's 63. It's 63 up.
Yeah, so I don't think the Padres are done.
Their pitching fucking sucks.
But some of these teams, like Diamondbacks, Giants, certainly.
The Padres pitching
they could
sucks.
fall.
It must be because, I mean, if they're up by 63 run differential, man, I mean, it's like, it's got to be the pitching.
Well, they got Joe Musgrove. They've got your guy.
No.
Well, let's take a look at the pitching here real quick.
You've got Lugo, who the Mets could have kept. I mean, he was already on your team.
So you got Blake Snow's got a 2.5 ERA. Okay. You got Yu Darvish who's got a 4.53. You got Joe Musgrove 3.05. Waka went on the 15-day. He was 8-2. He was one of their best pitchers.
Yeah.
Seth Lugo's 4-5 with a 3.62. Ryan Weathers is down. So they need pitching.
The Red Sox aren't going to do anything this year, but I heard Story might be coming back.
Yeah.
Trevor Story, for the Red Sox.
And if this Marcelo Meyer, that's their guy. I always mix him up with Marco Luciano for the Giants.
That's that Boston shortstop prospect.
If he comes up next year, Story's playing some short or moves over to second, and he does decent. Do you think that the Red Sox are really as mad about Bogaerts leaving as they maybe were 8 months ago? I mean, doesn't that seem like
Bogaerts has had a really solid career, especially the last couple of years.
Right. And then probably we've seen his best years already, right? I mean,
maybe,
right. I mean,
Bogaerts is serious. It's just like saying Manny Machado is just like we've seen his best years. They're both 30 years old. Same
They've
age.
He's 30, but he's already like halfway through that deal now. His name, he's been there for a while.
Oh God, no! I think he's got a lot more on that deal. Machado's only been there for like 2-3 years.
No,
3
it's
years.
more than 2 or 3 years.
Been
No.
3 years at least. At
And
least.
it's 5 years, I think. I don't know.
Oh
He's been there
yeah,
5 years.
26,
Wow.
27, 28, 29, 30. So he's been there since 2019.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is his 5th year. He's not through it all the way. He was with the Dodgers in Baltimore that 2018, so that was a combined. But he was Baltimore 6 years before that. He got a. Here's the thing: the reason why he seems like he's been in the league so long is because he came up when he was 19
19.
years old.
Yeah.
So, and that's going to be the same thing with Soto. You think Soto's been in the league for so long? Yeah, he's been in the league for 6 years, but he came up at like 19 years old.
I don't think we've seen Soto's best year yet. That's the difference, you know. Like
He's only 24.
I think it'd be a real mistake to trade him next off, in the off season. I think so. I mean,
But you know they can't pay everybody.
well, then they shouldn't have signed all those guys. They shouldn't have signed Bogarts, for God's sake. I mean, that was overkill, for God's sake. Jesus, they were even in on Judge.
Actually, no. He's a free agent after this year. He's arbitration eligible for 2024, free agent 2025. So he's
Right.
making 23 million. Juan Soto is right now for a
Yeah.
1-year deal.
So I don't trade him. Maybe a year from now, but not now. I mean, not even in the off season.
Yeah, you see some positive regression going on. Like you're 100%, Lou. I think he hasn't. Um, we have not seen his best year.
Yeah, he's special. I mean, like when he wasn't playing to his optimum level, it was all like launch angle stuff. Like he was still making contact, he still had a good eye. It was just weird, you know. I imagine as he gets older, he's going to be more consistent with that. You know, I don't know. I don't see him. I don't see like he's going to fall off them. I think if you get rid of Soto, you're going to regret it.
All right, so here's the thing with Machado.
You want him on your team, so if you can keep him, you definitely keep him.
Yeah, I mean MLB team. I'm not talking about beer league necessarily because he goes for a good amount in beer league.
That's what I meant. Yeah, that's what I meant for sure.
Here's the thing that's making Machado untradeable.
What is it?
So, do you know Machado? He signed a 15-year deal.
Was it really?
Yes. So he's under contract until he's 40 years old.
Oh, I didn't know.
He's got 10 more years on this deal. And he goes from, here's the thing, he goes from 1790 the next 2 years, 17,090,000. Then he jumps up the next year after that to 25 million. And then he jumps up to 39 million the year after that and rides out 39 million for the rest of his contract.
Doggy.
There ain't one fucking team in this league that's going to take that off them unless they're paying most of it.
I guess Preller and the ownership group is really banking on the fact that baseball revenues are going to go through the roof, and I don't know if that's the case. I mean, it's been
they're driving the
up until now.
The ballparks is what they're doing. They're just making their fans pay for it. They're not paying for it. They're charging a lot more for hot dogs and beer.
Well, I'm not, but I'm not going to many games. Even if I lived closer to Citi Field, I'm going to go to one game a year. I just watch the games on TV,
Hey, Jeff.
Go ahead.
Jeff, tell me, you might have the best handle on this. Okay. When I used to go to a Cubs game, I'd bring, my $60, $80, expecting to drop 60, right? Beer and a couple dogs, right? Now I won't buy more than one beer at the fucking ballpark at these prices.
No, you can't.
I won't. I'm like, I want to have a couple drinks beforehand, and when I go to the game, I'm going to buy one beer, and that's it. I'm not dropping $60. So what they're not moving their product. It's overpriced. Where they could have sold more beer at lesser price, right? Yeah. They're selling way less of beer at a higher price. So like the metrics of it all,
they're chasing the dollar rather than giving the fucking fan a break.
But
You
I'm
know?
just saying, I would just think it would be in their own best interest to move the product versus putting a premium price on it. I think at the end of the day, they have to be losing money because they're storing all it that you want to move your inventory. They're paying these guys to move the beer, and these
Yeah,
poor guys that are walking up and down the aisle, up and down the aisles, aren't selling 8 beers or more anymore because I'm not buying,
yeah,
and I'm a big beer drinker. You know what I mean? I used to go to the ballpark anticipating to drink beer, and they lost me as a customer. So don't haven't they priced themselves out of the market? Wouldn't they rather just roll the prices back so they sell more volume and then hence make more money? Doesn't
yeah.
make any sense to me.
I mean,
Hey,
I know
here's
that
another thing.
the Mets have done value pricing, which makes sense. You know, like they charge less for a weekday game as opposed to a weekend game, and in certain matchups they charge more. Because if I have a ballpark and it's like empty or half empty or whatever on Tuesday, I want to make what I want is like I want 40,000 people there, as a goal anyway, every game, and adjust the price to that and get them in there. Of course,
Right.
even if you get a cheap seat, like I could have gotten tickets for $6. The Mets game I went to against the White Sox last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. But still, I go there. I didn't get the $6 seats. I splurged and got like these seats for $26. They were in the middle level, like covered in the shade. It's good summer seat. But still, parking was $40. You know, the parking car was $40. I was shocked because I thought that the last time I went it was 20. So that's what I remembered anyway. 20 was in my comfort zone. 40 was not. And like you said, I mean, I didn't drink any beer. I just had a Diet Coke. But my son had a couple of I don't know if they were beers or seltzers, whatever, and I don't know how much they cost, but they were probably what, $12 or something
Oh
like
yeah, 12.50. It's
$14. I don't know.
yeah, the crafty shit's like 13.50.
Yeah.
But hey, the San Diego Padres thing we were talking about before. So Tatis, he is also signed for the next 10 years. Okay, or actually 11. Um, so basically this year he's getting 7.7 mil. Next year he's getting 11.7 mil. The year after that, in 2025, he getting 20.7 mil. Then he goes up in 27 to 25 7.7. And then he goes to 36.7 from the 29 to 34. So he's going to be making in the 30s. Fucking Machado's going to be in the 30s. And then the last one is Bogarts to look at here and see what he's signed for. I don't think he's in Xander. Can't remember how I'll get BOG.
That's the one they didn't need.
Yeah, yeah. And if you had Tatis still playing shortstop, why the fuck? I mean, now he's forced to be in the outfield. So Xander Bogaerts is signed through 2033 to the age of 40 years old for pretty much 25.4 million a year, flat across the board.
Yeah, I mean they're banking on that the baseball revenues are going to go through the roof, I guess, and maybe by that time, by 2030, a $30 million contract isn't going to seem like that much. But I'm not so sure that that's going to be the case because I know they're doing a lot of deals with they have these games on Friday night on Amazon, which is such a pain in the ass. I don't know if it's just if I'm watching a game on Amazon, I can't flip around and check MLB. I have to exit out of the whole thing, and it takes forever to get back in, and it's just I hate it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the point where if it's especially where the Mets are now, I'm not going to do that. I'll just give the remote to Diane, and she can watch her shows that she watches.
I'd be curious to see. For instance, like when Jordan bought, well, I think it was like a decade ago, the Charlotte Hornets, when he put in as $178 million or whatever. 10 years later, it's worth $3 billion.
Yeah.
Right. I wonder if the baseball franchises are escalating at the same rate. And if
Well,
that were the case,
they have, but I'm just
They're
worried.
probably
That's the
escalating
thing.
more because the teams don't come up for sale hardly ever.
if that's the case, then $30 million in salary ain't that much.
Right, right. But that's banking on the fact that things going forward are going to be the way that they were up to this point. And maybe they're right. You know, those guys they have a lot of money in the line. They're smart guys, but I don't know if that's going to do. What if it doesn't work like that? What if, like, you know, there's definitely not as many baseball fans that are 20 now as compared to guys who are 50 or 60 like us. You know, I mean,
Right. Well, that's why they're trying desperately to change the game, speed it up, have more offense. You know, there've been a lot of rule changes the last couple of
yeah,
years, and but talk about fan too. Like, you know, a couple of years ago, someone offered me Bulls tickets, like like 5 years ago, and I'm like, nah. You know, can you imagine not being interested in going to a Bulls game? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, it's a hassle to see a mediocre product. You can watch an NBA game where there's nobody there in the stands, and yet those franchises are being evaluated, you know, for you know, the escalation of their value. Um, you know, the Cubs. It's as a Cubs fan, I guess the Sox stadium. You can go watch a Sox game and it's half empty, dude.
Oh
Am
yeah,
I
no,
right about that?
yeah,
Yeah, and that's you think you think you're saying before about discount prices. Just get the volume, discount the beer, discount the ticket price just for the volume to bring brand loyalty, to bring new fans into the game, to show people an experience because they spend a lot of money to build an experience. And if people are experiencing the experience, then all that money's for naught. Like all the money you put in the ballpark and its amenities, if people aren't there to see it, then that's a waste of money.
exactly. Or it's a tax write-off.
I mean, even if you have free tickets, you're going to make money having somebody come to the game because they're going to spend $40 to park, and then they're going to, even if they don't buy any you know, souvenirs like what we didn't. I mean, I'm sure that my son and I spent, I don't know. I mean, had to be $50. I mean, it's real bare bones. I mean, you know, like I don't know what he ate even. I ate, you know, a burger and Diet Coke or whatever, you know. But anyways, they still got us for, let's say, $100 for including the parking. So even if those tickets had been free, even if I got the $6 seats, you know, I still would have spent some money. I mean, I don't know. I just I don't worry about the game like that because I don't own a team, and I don't care if the players make 30 million or if they make 3 million. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter to me as long as baseball did well enough that it exists and they play the games. Like that's all I care about. I certainly don't give a shit if the players are making 50 million a year or 5 million a year. You know, doesn't matter to
Yeah,
me.
the players aren't going to bankrupt the league. That's for sure. What you know, they're what I think baseball. The problem is, and you were saying this before, generating interest in the younger generation, and they're doing their best to do that by making more offense, speeding up the game.
I mean, these fantasy baseball guys, I don't think there's a lot of young people doing fantasy baseball, right? That seems like that's like an our generation thing.
No, they're
Guys
out
older
there.
than us and a little bit younger, but not. I don't know.
The leagues that exist out there are pretty fucking serious. I'll tell you that.
Baseball.
Yeah, because you have to be a serious, dedicated baseball nerd to want to do fantasy baseball.
Because for some reason, fantasy football that's different. That's
Oh, it's okay. Set it and forget it for a week, and then
but,
keep your eye on what happens
but
throughout the
there
week.
are people
Say
in
if
their
somebody
twenties
gets
doing
hurt in a
fantasy
fucking,
football.
It's a
Everybody's
shorter
practice or
season.
whatever.
Everybody's
It's a
doing
shorter
fantasy
season.
football, but baseball, I don't know. Maybe because I'm just not around a bunch of guys in their
It's a,
20s, but I don't
football's a
see it.
16-week commitment,
Yeah,
and it's all the games are televised. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can watch any game that's being played. You have the ability to watch. So if you invested in a player, you get to see it. As opposed to like unless you have the MLB package, you can't watch every game.
Well, you can't watch any game of NFL unless you have the NFL package.
No, you can watch just about every
But
game.
that's the big thing about football is like that it's a weekly event. It's one game a week.
Oh, I know what you're saying. They have regional action. Okay, that's fine. I hear what you're saying.
You got the matchup and you build up to it, and then you got football pools and all this kind of stuff. It's good. Football's got its
There's
own
more
thing.
there's more available football games to view per week than baseball games.
Certainly as a percentage, right? I mean, like there's only one game.
Well, yeah, because you've got there's what
Thursday.
three or four. Well, you got one on Thursday, 3 or 4 on Sunday. Wait, like 4 or 5, right?
There at least 3.
Yeah.
You have this early
you got
game,
the late game.
and
You got the late game, and you got like
Sunday,
3 games during the day.
On normal
You
TV,
got
I
Monday
get
night.
4 on Sunday.
Monday night, yeah.
Monday night
So
and
basically,
Thursday
you're
night.
getting to see about 6 of the games. I mean,
6 of the 16 games.
and not to mention, well, the one game on Sunday is going to be your local podcast.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you can watch 6 Cubs games if you have the Marquee Network. You watch 6 Cubs games and then the Sox games, so that by volume, but you don't get to see all the teams. Like I can't, like I couldn't watch the San Diego game unless I have the MLB, network. I couldn't watch,
You can watch your local team unless you're a Jets fan living in Connecticut, because if the Jets and the Patriots are playing at the same time, they never show the Jets. It's always the Patriots.
I gotta take this guy out again. I'll be back.
I don't get CBS from New York anymore. We had DirecTV, and I used to get that. I only got it because I could get the Jets games from on CBS in New York. But we switched to Comcast a few years ago, back to Comcast, and
So where exactly do you live, Lou?
my town is exactly in between Foxborough Stadium and Giants and Jet Stadium, the Meadowlands.
Okay. And your affiliation lies with?
Well, I grew up closer to New York. I grew up in Orange. When I was forming my allegiances, I lived in Orange, Connecticut, and that's only about like an hour from New York. So much closer to New York than Boston. But anyways, when the Giants and the Patriots played in the Super Bowl, whatever year that was, 2008, I don't know.
The catch.
There was 2 times that they played. They sent HBO Sports or whatever sent a crew to my town.
Hysterical.
They sent a crew to my town, and everybody was invited to come to the town green dressed in their Patriots and their Giants stuff, because they determined that the midpoint between the 2 stadiums was in my town, in Durham. And so I had a Jets uniform for Sam. So I hoisted him up, like on my shoulders, whatever. And I never saw it air, but people told me that they showed us like half a dozen times because it's hilarious, because there was a sea of Giants fans on one side and Patriots fans, and then there was like this Jets person.
A bright line,
12
right down the middle of Main Street. There's a bright line just painted. You guys are standing on each side. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's pretty split here, but the Patriots fans are new, relatively new, because when I was growing up, one town over from here, there was one guy that had a Patriots jacket my whole school. And even I tried to be a Patriots fan for a while. I was like, yeah, I could like the Patriots too, but it never really took. But that was back in the late 70s, mid late 70s. So when the Patriots got good, they got a lot more fans, as you might imagine. Like you probably saw a lot more Packers stuff in Chicago, in the 90s than you did in the 70s or something, so.
Well, my dad grew up in South Milwaukee, so I mean, he didn't wear the gear, but there are a lot of Pack. I mean, you're a Pack. No one leaves the Church of Packerdom. If you've ever been indoctrinated, if you've ever been baptized in the Church of Packerdom, you never leave. You're in it for life. And there's a lot of Wisconsinites here, obviously, in Chicago. It's an easy trip.
My dad's from UP, Michigan.
Yeah.
His town is much closer to Green Bay than Detroit, but I guess because it was Michigan, he was always a Detroit fan.
Yeah.
So he had no, but I guess his family, like my cousins and stuff like that, they're all Packers fans, but
you buy into the team, you get the little certificate, put it on your wall. Yeah,
Packers actually, a former beer leaguer who I play in a fantasy football league with now. He does own part of the Packers. He's like, he got to buy a piece of them or something.
All right, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Well,
And
I
you know,
wish
it's
that
funny. It's
I
funny.
wish
They'll put Favre's tenure and Aaron Rodgers' tenure, on one side, and then they'll have, from whenever Favre started, whenever, what would have been? Jesus Christ. Whatever. Their respective careers. Put Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and then on the other side from that same time span, like the 30 Bears quarterbacks that started games in that same era. You know what I mean? Ridiculous. Ridiculous. I mean, the Bears. Oh my God, the Bears. If you wanna have a laugh, you look up the Bears' #1 draft picks from the last 20 years, right? Right. Up into just past when they were taking the past of the 80s when what was his name? The guy that came over from the Packers, right? What was his name? Shoot, it'll come to me, of course, when we're done with this. But right after the Singletary draft, and then the Hampton, and when they got all those guys, the string of busts. You bemoan your Mets. The string of busts that Bears
Theory,
have taken.
right? John
What's
Theory.
that?
No, John Theory was actually drafted by the Bears in like a second round.
But the string of busts the Bears have had in the first round is remarkable. It's remarkable.
It's pathetic. I think the last one they nailed was Jimbo Covert.
Right. Everything from Rasham Salam to Curtis Enos to
Curtis Penis and Cedric Benson. God rest his soul.
Who was the quarterback from UCLA they took? Last 1 year in the league.
Cade McNown.
Shane McNown. What the fuck
Cade
was
McNown.
that, man?
Yeah, he was terrible. He was
P.G.
just
Willis?
a cocky fuck. You know what he was? He was Johnny Manziel. That's what he was.
Yeah.
I think
Dating Playboy models or whatever the fuck he was doing.
Bears should do better this year, though, don't you think?
I like their chances.
Hey, yeah, they I like their head coach. I like the Bears head coach a lot.
I do too.
Name him. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can walk into a bar in Chicago, and for the first time since I can remember, maybe a quarter of the people can even name the Bears coach, let alone pick him out of a lineup. That's really unusual because usually, whether it's Toppin, even the ridiculous guys, the high recognition factor for Bears coaches has been prominent over the years. And now they got this head coach that doesn't take any headlines, doesn't stays out of the spotlight, and took a player, realized 3 or 4 games into the season, it's like, yeah, he can't play to our playbook. Let's make one for him, and switched it around. And by halfway through the season, they played the field strengths. He went away from the program he wanted to install and worked with the talent he had. So instead of pigeonholing talent into what he wanted to do, he's
making chicken salad out of chicken shit.
he catered to the talent that he was on the field. And this guy is good, man. I like him.
Yeah.
I like the fact
I like him too.
Yeah. Jeff, that book that I was mentioning when Sean was on, was that last week? 2 weeks ago? I don't know. Oh, no, that was in June, probably. I don't know. I'm all mixed up. But
no, it was a couple of weeks back. It was like July, early July.
But it's called Football Outsiders, and it's this great book it's been around for a while under different names, like Pro Football Prospectus, it was called at one point. Well, guess what? That book doesn't exist anymore. Here I am telling you guys to get it. But this guy's name is Aaron Schatz, and he started it, and he sold the company, to like a, I don't know, I don't understand it, but he's out now. He resigned, and he's going to come out. He's coming out with his own book under the FTN. website, football. I don't even know what it stands for, FTN, but football something. And so he is going to put out his annual, but it's not. So here I am telling you how great this book is, and guess what? Last year was the last year ever for that book, I guess. But I'm going to get his new book and see how it compares. But I was telling Jeff about this on the podcast a couple of weeks back that this book is kind of like, you know, baseball prospectus. It's like the only book like it. So I hope he's the guy that started all this stuff, the stats that they use and all this kind of stuff. So he's the guy, you know, he's the guy that you know, you should buy the book from. I don't know what they're doing at Football Outsiders, but it's just so disappointing. I mean, this is one of the things I gear up. You know, it's kind of like when you gear up to get your baseball annuals. Well, this was my one football book that I got every year, and I read it all during football season, all the way till, you know, January.
You play fantasy football?
Yeah, I do. But this book was it's more. I mean, you could use. They have a fantasy section, but it was more just general football, like you know, talking about the teams and the direction they're going, and then you know, the players.
Give me a hot take. Give me a hot take from last year that they nailed, or that was interesting.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, they get things wrong too. I mean, like they weren't high on Josh Allen when he came out, just like, you know, I was not either. You know, so they you know, they make mistakes, but it's just analysis you don't see anywhere. You know, they don't just look at yardage, like let's say for a running back, they don't just look at his total yardage or even his average yardage. They look at like if the play was successful or not. So like on 1st and 10, you have to make at least 4 yards for it to be a successful play. On the second down, you have to make at least 50% of the yardage that you need for a first down. And you know, it's just an interesting, you know, their stats were DVOA. I think that's what their system is, but it was just it was a good read. I mean, you definitely would have enjoyed it. So I'm gonna get this new one. I'm gonna get this new one when it comes out, and I'll let you know if you should get it. But the old
I like for football. I like elusiveness. Yards after contact is a great one. For running backs and receiver. You know, and then you look at offensive lines, and there's a lot of metrics. Like, for instance, you're doing fantasy football. There's actionable information that you can see why certain players are going to be better than other players.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, football is, you know, it's harder to isolate the individual statistical performance, you know, but the book was,
they can.
It was interesting to read. Like, for instance, from last year, they were wondering why you draft Fields and then give him no weapons to, you know, it's like the Bears last year didn't maximize his chances of being successful by what they surrounded him with. Now, I think the Bears are better off this year than they were last year, but it's weird to, you know, to bring in a guy like that and then just surround him with shit.
That was the whole deal. They were kind of, the concern was they were setting him up to fail. And then I think that something switched. And I'm going to give the coaching staff some credit, and I'm going to give Phil some credit for hanging in there. And I think Moody.
I mean,
I
he has no control over who drafts him. You know.
Wait, what's that?
I'm saying, what could Fields do? I mean, he has no control over who drafts him.
No, I like. Right. No, I like the fact that I mean, you can be aware of what the franchise has. There are tells that the franchise has faith in you, or hey, Fields wasn't when the new regime came in. Fields wasn't drafted by him; he wasn't their guy, and it's kind of like, okay, well, like how invested are you? And you can tell as a player, like, well, fuck, you know, give me anything to work with. But I like Moody. I think DJ Moore. I think he's gonna. He has a potential to have a breakout season. They just played. What did they just pay Cole Kmet some big time money? So they obviously like him. I don't know. Is Claypool going to be any good? Jeff, what do you think of Claypool? Is he gone?
No.
What happened last year?
I just don't think that kid is committed, to be honest with you.
So he's a head case.
I think so. I don't think he's very smart. I don't think he gets the playbooks. I think he's
He flashed really big for Pittsburgh that rookie year, man.
Yeah, but
With-
how many plays were just made specifically for him, and how many can he get off the playbook?
Fine, make plays for him. That's what they do with Debo Samuel. They're like, okay, there are no options. We're running a Debo play, and
I
he's
like
got
Debo Samuel.
Debo's awesome, and I think
Debo's great.
I think he's got some of the same skill set as far as like being able to run the ball. I mean, Pittsburgh used to give him running plays all the time, and he made some great athletic plays. He's an athlete. Claypool's an athlete. Whether he's a team player or whether his head's in the game, I guess remains to be seen. But as far as just pure athleticism, he's up there.
Yeah, I got the #1 pick in our league this year, and you got #7. How you feel about that?
I
How'd you
don't like
finagle
it.
that?
Huh?
How'd you finagle getting the #1 pick?
Um,
It was
it
like
was
the
a blind
Blackhawks,
draw
right?
out
That
of a
whole
hat. I
scandal.
don't like the #1 pick. I'm going to tell you that right now. I don't like it at all. It's
The
just
number five.
it's.
I think number 5 is the best pick. I think that's the
I
first
like
tier.
4 is a good wheelhouse.
I think 5 is the top tier, and
I had
then
6 last year, and I did fucking terrible.
well, it doesn't. I mean, each year the tiers break off differently.
Yeah.
But
But
I think there's
I
a.
can
I think
see
there's
I can
a.
see that #1 is not probably where you want to go, you know.
Well, he's going to go. You go Christian McCaffrey, though we are in a 3 receiver league. So the Jefferson, Chase, Claypool. Well, it depends if Burrows how bad. I guess he carted Burrows off the field the other day. Which
Yeah, he tore a calf muscle.
no, he didn't.
He didn't
He
tear it.
tore it.
I think he tore it. Yeah,
Well, that's not good, dude.
yeah. He's going to be out probably. If that's the case, he's going to be out a month at least.
Yeah, so he'll miss the whole preseason.
Yep.
All
Let
right.
me go. Let me
Well,
take a look and see. Let me see what the whole deal is with him.
so you got Justin Jefferson, you got Claypool, you got what's his name
They
on
call him
Miami?
questionable right now.
Okay.
Expected to miss several weeks with a calf strain.
Okay. Okay. So he'll miss this preseason.
A strain is just a small tear. He didn't blow it out, but it's still fucking going to take a while to recover off of that.
Where did you finish last year, John?
Me?
Yeah.
I think I got knocked out of the semis.
Because you won it when? Like 2 years
What's that?
ago? You won it what? 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
Probably like 2 years ago, yeah.
When did Paul win it? Paul won it this year?
Either last year, I think.
No, basically this year Tim won it. But
Oh,
he
Tim
has
did, yeah.
but it was like since the last game was like that heart attack game.
Oh yeah.
He split the proceeds with Will 50-50. It was in the championship, but Tim had a better record and Tim had more points. And Tim was up when this whole thing happened. So Will likes to say he's a co-champion, and he's not.
If they played a full game, I would have won. But the guy that won it offered to split it with me, but I run the league, and I was like, no, you won it fair and square.
Dude, I was in the championship in the league I have. The Lemmings League it's Jeff has said before. You throw in $50. It's not like a big money thing where everyone gets all twisted up.
It's a review every year. There's no keepers. There's nothing. You just start fresh
in
and
the
new.
league, in my big money league, I was in the championship, and that was a big decision. Like, going in, it's like okay, and then we decided to split it. But
Yeah.
there was a lot more money involved, and I was winning.
What year did Paul win it? Because he
It
said
had to be last year. It had to be last year, right?
You know what? I'm terrible. I haven't really been keeping track.
It had to be last year. I mean, 2 years ago, rather.
No, not last year because that was the Tim Mullen one, but it was the year before.
Yes, that's what I meant by last year.
And then you probably won it the year before that.
Last year before last year.
I've only won it one time, and that was the very first year. And after that, I have not won it again. And this has been going on for what, about 10 years? I think the league's been going on for about 10 years.
Well, I remember when you were talking about John before he was in the beer league, you said that he won your football league. So maybe it was the right before you came into the beer league. Your
Yeah,
first year in the beer league was 2021, so maybe you won it in 2020.
that sounds right. That sounds right. But yeah, I had one year where I was in 3 leagues and I won 3 titles. That was fun.
Yeah, they don't have the history tab on here anymore.
Yeah, they do.
Do they really? Where's the fuck is it?
There's a thing up in the left-hand corner above the teams that will say it.
Our football league costs even less than yours, and we only have 13 rounds in the draft. We have 2 wide receivers, 1 running back, and a flex. I know most times you have 3 and 2 in a flex, but we just have 2 receivers, 1 running back, 1 tight end, and 1 flex.
So your waiver wire is gold, man.
It's a very casual league, at least the way I think of it is.
You could probably field in a league like that. You could probably field. You could have 11 people draft, and and then anyone could take whatever's left in the waiver wire and put together a competitive team
Yeah, because there's guys that aren't even
everywhere.
drafted that end up being good.
100%. 100%. Yeah,
Well, we've been on for like 3 hours and 23 minutes. This time flew by.
Well, let's talk about fantasy basketball.
Yeah.
And then
I've got to be at the office by 10 a.m. tomorrow.
All right.
Well, it's
Sounds
already
good.
tomorrow here. It's already August. So
It's August.
yeah, I can see into the future. I can tell you what things are like.
Nice.
Right on.
That reminds me, I have to fucking submit my mileage for the day, for the month.
Well, John, good luck.
Yeah. I'm coming for you, Lou. I'm coming for second place, man. I'm putting the pedal to the metal.
I don't want you to finish ahead of me unless I finish in 5th.
I'm putting right. I'm putting the pedal to the metal. I think that happened one year. I think the first year I was in the league, we were toggling between 4th and 5th, and you leapfrogged me the last week. And the advantage, I guess, was that it was 4th in the money.
Yeah.
So you finished in the money, but I got the first pick off the whatever.
See, I don't know which one I want more,
But that happened to me the first year in the league, the COVID year, the Let's Play 62 year.
Yeah, let's play 60.
Whatever it was.
That was a good team name. Under the
Yeah, I was trying to
circumstances.
stay positive, man. What would right? What would Ernie Bakes say in a moment like this? Well, this is a season canceled. What are we gonna do? Let's play 62. Let's do it, motherfuckers.
60 was enough. I mean, even like this year, that was enough for Sash to move into first. It just would have looked a lot closer. That's so funny. Like, I had more points than Satch until some point at the end of May, and now he's got almost like 500 more points than I do.
Dude, I crushed it in points last year, and I lost by a couple games, and I had a lot of points last year.
He is just like steamrolled since in the past 2 months.
You got to churn and burn. That's what I'm adopting his style, man. I'm not romancing players anymore and waiting for guys to develop. If you're not doing it for me now, then you're out. And because there's always shit on the waiver wire that's going to work. Like I picked up 2 guys off the waiver wire yesterday, and they both hit home runs for me.
Woo!
So, yeah,
that doesn't happen every game.
Well, okay. Well, I'll give away a secret here. So they got that guy Jake Bauer, right, on the Yankees.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I was looking at the stat. I was just fucking around, trying to find a hidden gem, and I look at the the Statcast page, the barrel rates. Right, and if you do 50 or more at bats, there are, all the studs that you expect to be there, right? Like the Tatises and the Acunas, like all the studs, and there's Jake Bauer guy. I'm like, what the fuck is that? So then I went to the expected stats, the WOBA thing, and there he was in the top 10 again. And I'm like, fuck this. And he bats lefty in Yankee Stadium. I'll grab that guy. And he went back to back the last 2 days with home runs. um and I got lucky with girls and what's his name? Gerlich. I really loved him batting third for Colorado.
Rich.
With half their games left in Colorado. And of course, they traded him, but he's been hot and he managed to hit a home run. Now, I'm not going to hold on to that guy just because I'm not valuing him that much, but he helped today. And I'm going to try to find the guy, find the kind of guy who replace him that's got a good match. Just get the back to Phil. He's told you what he does.
Ward just got hurt, so that'll help
Who?
Gritch explain. Ward just got hurt, so that'll help Gritch.
Yeah, Tyler
really?
Ward.
How bad? Like tonight?
No, maybe yesterday or day before.
Okay.
No, he got.
When does Trout come back?
He got hit, didn't he?
I didn't see it. And when does Trout come back?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
I picked up that kid Nato, the rookie.
Shortstop.
Any TO?
Yeah, who's like a kid. He only played like half a season in Double-A, and they called him up to lead off for the Angels.
That's the Angels' way. That's the Angels' way.
You know what I like? You know what I liked about him?
Give it a shot.
You know what I liked about him is that if you look at his StatCats page and you look at his barrels and you look at expected WOBA, the expected stats, he lines it up exactly like exact same numbers. And this goes to launch angle, it goes to exit velocity, it lines up exactly with the who's the kid that batting third for the Reds?
Ellie De La Cruz?
No, the other kid.
McLean?
Yeah, McLean. Their stats are like they're twins. They look exactly the same. So I'm gonna hold on to that kid for a minute too. And now I'm stuck with, hey, does anyone want Crawford, man? The guy's crushing it. Does anyone need a shortstop?
JP Crawford?
Yeah, he's crushing it. And I got too many shortstops. Maybe I'll even trade Swanson.
Oh, what would you want for Swanson?
Swanson's killing it too. His StatCast numbers are solid, and he hit a home run tonight too. If anyone in the league's interested in a shortstop, I'm willing.
So the Cubs might have done the best job as far as all those free agent shortstops that were available that 2-year period. They got Swanson for, first of all, they got him for what, 6 years?
Yeah.
5 or 6? That's better than 10,
Well, you know why they got,
and he's making what, 24? Is that right?
You know why they got, and he's still young, and his barrel rate and his hard hit, like he's a hard hitting fucking shortstop, dude. He can barrel up the ball. He's solid. You know why they got him cheap though, right? Because his wife plays for professional soccer here in Chicago.
Yeah.
So it's like it was a no-brainer. It's like, of course, yeah. I want to living in the same town as my life, as my wife, as my wife. That was probably that was a good get for him.
She's injured this year, right? I think, right? Wasn't she out for the year?
Regardless, though.
just
as a throw-in. I mean, I think I saw that.
But yeah, so
what do you want in return for him though? For Swanson, what are you looking for? If it's first base, third base, outfield?
Let me look at your team. No, I'd be willing. I would definitely, especially. Wait, when's our trade deadline? Is it the 1st?
I think it's
24th
August
of
24th.
August.
The 24th?
Yeah, it's weird. It's like a Thursday, I think. It's not a Monday or.
If I can't make any ground this week, and I'm still 5th place behind all you guys, looking up at the teams ahead of me, I'll definitely trade Swanson, 100%.
Well, I've got Andrew Vaughn here. He's got about the same numbers as Swanson.
Yeah,
but he plays 3 positions. He's first base, left field, right field.
I don't know if he'll be eligible at that next year. I don't think he's played any outfield this year.
Yeah, he might just be a first baseman next year.
And I don't know, man. The White Sox franchise does not look like does not looks a little bit in shambles to me. You know what I mean? And we'll move up in the batting order as they start getting, as they start getting Tim Anderson leaves or whoever leaves in the next 24 hours. But they were even talking about trading. I heard the rumors about Eloy getting moved.
Yeah, I heard that too.
But man, I don't know. The White Sox, they just don't seem like the arrow's not pointing up for them right now, man.
It just depends on what they do in the offseason, to be honest with you.
I think that the start of it was the Renteria LaRussa thing,
Yeah.
Hey, who knows? Maybe moving Jose Abreu, having that leadership in the doghouse. Having that veteran.
That's what Jeff has said several times.
What's that?
That's what Jeff has said several times to Abreu.
Yeah.
But he started off so bad that it seemed like maybe they cut bait at the right time. I think.
There's that. Sometimes players don't adjust their first year on a contract to a new team. We've seen this over and over again. Like Soto, Francisco Lindor. Even like younger players in their prime, they get a good contract from a new team. It takes a while to, to catch the wave.
Right.
I remember my first multi-million-dollar contract, and I did get off to a slow start with that, so I can relate. That it's all that pressure, making all that money, having such a large bank account.
I'm just saying. There's a lot of big names that have stumbled, that had solid years that have stumbled out of the gate with a new team. It happens all the time.
No, I know. I think Abreu is doing better nowadays. I don't know.
He is doing better.
Yeah.
And again, he was a solid guy in the clubhouse. He was the vet and soft spoken, clean nose as far as we can, was always concerned. Showed the kids how to play every day. Played injured all the time. Like that guy played through injuries all the time. Who knows? Maybe he was injured at the beginning of the year. He would never let you know.
So Tim Anderson's still a White Sox.
I know.
I wonder if that's just due to the fact that there's no market for him or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, the deadline is tomorrow at fucking 6 Eastern.
There'll be some moves tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Tonight, right?
Did anyone significant go down today?
Bichette came out of the game with a possible knee injury.
Well, I mean, I think what he means is that they get pulled from a game or not played at all.
No, not only yes that, but also, for instance, I'm sure. I mean, Toronto had to go after Hicks because
Romano
went down, right? So if anyone went down,
Tim Anderson will go to the Blue Jays.
Yeah, right.
He's the new Jackie Robinson,
Right.
Yeah, not much has happened since the whole Jace fucking what's his name? Jace Peterson thing. All right, gentlemen, I've got to cut it. I've got to get to bed.
Folks.
But great talking to you both.
All right.
Right on.
This was 3 hours and 35 minutes long. And probably one of the longest ones we've had, but it went by quick.
It'll definitely be in the top 3.
It didn't go by as quick as Oppenheimer, but it went by quick.
All right, folks.
All right, guys. Well, you have a good one, Lou. I'll let you do the honors of stopping the tape whenever you get done.
Right. I was just going to say that Oppenheimer's doing really, really well at the box office, but I had originally thought it was going to bomb.
And see.
Waka waka.
All right. See ya.
All right, bro.